committee meeting. At this moment, there is no quorum. The only committee members, well, the only one that chairs it is me and the chair of public safety. So at this moment, what we're going to do is we're going to receive the chief. He's going to be presenting a discussion on a youth initiative called Gaming with Cops. I'm going to allow him to, before that, excuse me, Chief, before I allow that, I know there's public comment. Is there anyone that has any questions? Anybody who's going to come into the public? See none? I don't know if the gentleman back there is here just to listen, or just, okay, great, welcome. So I want to welcome all those on our YouTube channel. I want to welcome Mayor Pastro, welcome Councilor Dice, and also Councilor Hart. At this time, we are going to begin our public safety meeting. We have invited the chief, our chief of police, Brian Wright, who will be discussing with us a new youth initiative called Gaming with Cops. Welcome, Chief. It's good to see you. The floor is yours.
Likewise. Good evening, and thank you for the invitation tonight and the opportunity to discuss our newest or novel approach to building relationships with youth. As everyone may know, we're always looking for innovative or new ways to connect with our young people. We do so with such initiatives as High Five Fridays, Cold Treat Patrols, Cookies and Milk with Officers, and our newest addition is Gaming with Cops. It's always a challenge to reach our younger demographics through traditional outreach programs, so we thought, let's think outside the box. Let's think of something which they enjoy and they are heavily into, and we came up with this strategy called Gaming with Cops, which was funded through a grant we received. We were able to acquire and purchase some PS5s along with Xbox systems. We've put up screens or monitors in our substation 40 Truman Street, and what our goal is to roll out evenings where we have Gaming with Cop programs, which involve officers playing games with our young people and sometimes young adults, and may even be adults. Gaming online is a very big thing. The key thing is that we're looking for improved community relations and youth improvement. We pair officers with young people and we engage in these games. The benefit is that it allows for mentorship opportunities, creates opportunities for officers to mentor and guide young gamers. It also allows for conversation and engagement for things outside of gaming, such as issues going on in our community, as well as topics or subject matters that they find interesting. And I think it pairs the group up in non-traditional ways in a non-hostile type environment, and it humanizes officers to young people and also brings the current trends and things with young people to officers. I think it's just one more way in which we can improve our relationships and bridge those gaps. And I think it promotes positive role models within our community and allows officers as well as our youth to be better engaged.
Thank you, Chief. I mean, I think this is just a great idea. It's a great idea because, again, you know what, if I could say, you're reaching that younger generation with something that they love to do, which is gaming. I grew up when we were outside all the time, playing basketball, doing whatever. Now this generation is more into the gaming and devices, so I think it's going to be a great thing. I think it's going to be very popular, and you might just get some adults.
Absolutely, it's going to give me another skill set, because I'm back when it was one button and a joystick. So
that's right.
All these buttons and things, even I'm going to get educated real quick in these new systems, but we're very much looking forward to it. Yeah. I think it's a great opportunity, and sky's the limit with it. Yeah,
one question, have they done this in other cities across the nation? Have you seen it? Or?
I'm not quite sure, okay. But I'm sure it's nothing that's brand new. Why reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? If you can come up with a common ground for those involved to engage, I think it just serves a greater purpose, and we very much look forward to it.
All right,
And
thank
we
you.
might have some counselors, if you're out, if you're into gaming, and you can show us a thing or two.
That is awesome. So I want to welcome Councilor Murray, who's one of the committee members of the Public Safety Committee. Welcome. And that's okay. I'm glad that you're here and you're here safe. With that said, we have quorum, so it's an official Public Safety Committee meeting at this time. So what I'm going to do is, while I'll let Councilor Murray, get himself ready there, I'm going to open it up to Councilor Dice with any questions, any comments on what Chief Wright just presented.
Thank you, President. Through you to Chief. So the site you say is Truman Street. I noticed, I don't know if you still have the basketball court outside?
Yes,
On
we
Truman
do.
Street? I was just looking at the different opportunities with the kids too, in case it's some that may want to, as you talk and game with them, they may want to play basketball. How many people can, how many people can be served in that location? Do you guys have a capacity of how many people at one time?
Well, the goal is to serve as many participants as we can. However, we want to ensure that everyone gets hands-on. So there may be times where there's some gaming, there may be room for some to play basketball and some to conversate. And we're looking to spin this off to more things such as maybe checking, see how the kids are doing in homework, maybe involve some of our other stakeholders in doing homework and things of that nature. It has the room to grow, and we're looking to morph this into something that supersedes just playing, involves that, but that's sort of like the treat to draw young people in. Hopefully, it gets to a point where people just want to show up just for the other things that we'll be able to do. But the proof will be in the pudding, as I always say, and as we continue to grow, who knows, we might outgrow this location, that's a great thing, and we have a great thing such as our community center, so who knows where this can go.
And then one more question, and thank you for sharing the different opportunities that can grow from this. I was just curious, how would you let people know that this is going to be implemented in our community? What is going to be your outreach for this?
Well, we will learn as we grow. There might be an opportunity where we highlight a particular school on a particular sessions and get it that way, or different age groups, because one, we want to make sure everyone feels comfortable. Two, we want to be able to serve and provide the opportunity to as many people as possible. So the rollout, we'll learn as we go, but there's a few ideas that we have in mind in order to ensure that there's no particular school or group that's left out.
I appreciate that, and I want to encourage you just to think about, as our officers doing their rounds or looking around, maybe having a car to invite people out, just some of the kids that's hanging around that might be at the basketball court or may just be walking the street just to, as you encounter people. I love the high five that you guys been doing, and you guys, I love seeing people walking around, not people, but the officers walking around with, getting to know the kids in the community. So just want to say good job, and I hope this is successful. But you hit it right on, you hit it right out the ballpark, because a lot of our kids are into gaming, so thank you.
No, thank you.
I yield the floor.
All right, thank you, Councilor Dash. With that, I'm going to open up to Councilor Murray, Gaming with Cops, a new youth initiative that the police department is bringing forth.
Well, I apologize, Chief Wright. As you know, I arrived here a little bit late, so I missed some of your presentation. However, from what I heard, it sounds like a worthy initiative, and I appreciate Councilor Dice's questions about how we're going to get the word out. And I would simply make a friendly amendment to say using a QR code can be very helpful, especially all the kids have phones, so something that you can flash or your officers can flash that they can sign up for it. I know my kid would love to. He's a Fortnite gamer, so getting the word out and getting them to participate, I think, is key, and if there's anything that we can do to help to get the word out, Rotary Club, Drop-In Learning Center, all different places that Salvation Army, places that we have connections to, that the youth of our city, they congregate, please let us know. We're happy to spell the good word. So thank you
Much
for your efforts.
appreciated, thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Mota. Councilor Hart, I was just going to call you Parks, Rec, and Education. You might have something to add to that.
Thank you, Council President, through you to the chief. Thank you so much for coming here and for being open with us all the time, coming to us with new ideas and reports from the community. I heard you say that this was grant funded, which is great. Can I just clarify, does that mean that the purchase of the gaming systems is grant funded, or does that include any of the time that we spent on this project too?
It will include all the above. It does include all the above, and if there's a cost on our end to prolong it, then that's money well invested and money well spent.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. And just as far as priorities within the department, is this, were these hours that we're going to already spent on community outreach through some other program that are going to shift to this, or is it going to be shifting a priority from some other activity to community outreach?
It's in addition to, no other services will suffer as a result of it. This is just one more thing we'll be attempting to do to further engage with our young people. And if you have your youth, you have your adults, so it's all part of a bigger picture in trying to get everyone involved.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hart. Councilor Sadi?
No comments.
No comments? Well, let me just say this, Chief. I believe that this is going to be very popular. And the reason saying again, as we have talked, you know, it's something new. Again, you know what, when you talk about video games, and our kids today, I mean, I teach at the middle school. I mean, and they can't stay off those phones until they walk in class. I got to put them away. But, you know, besides that, I think it's a great initiative. I can't wait for the first day. Hopefully, I'll be there whenever you put the date out, whenever it is. I'll be there to support it and every other chance I get. Because we need to do something different for the youth, right? Now we have the community center, we have other things, they have their sports team and everything. But this, I've never seen something like this to be put together. And then I foresee, Chief, this is just me talking, I foresee this could be a tournament. You could go into a tournament eventually, and that's when you can use the community center. Make it larger.
Absolutely. And the great thing is, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for the outstanding young officers and senior officers that we have at the police department. Kudos to them. They're part of everything that's positive in what we're able to do. So it's all about the membership and the great things they go out and do day in and day out.
Well, Chief, I want to say thank you, and thanks to all those young officers who are willing to invest in our youth of the city of London. So thank you for tonight's presentation. If anyone else has anything else that they want to say, you know what, I'm Mayor Pastor. You walked right in, I just wonder, what do you think? Gaming with Cops, new initiative from the chief. Everything the chief does is top. Yep. Get the mic on, is it mic on?
Microphone.
Yep.
I'm the chief's biggest fan, so he's done a spectacular job. So thank you, Chief. Another great initiative. He's full of initiatives. You can't keep up with them all. So
Thank you, and I think we might have some secret gamers in our council person.
Yeah.
People here, so never be surprised who might pull up and ready to come with their own controller.
That's right. You might have an administrative assistant walk in there one day too. So again, Chief, without further, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in and sharing this great initiative with us, and we're looking forward to when you start rolling it out. Is it at the end of this month, or do you have a set date when you're going to start?
It'll be coming in to October. There's a few little things we have to hammer out, but everyone will know. We'll be posting on our social media. We'll be reaching out to the
Yes.
schools and everything, so we'll make a big deal of it. Thank you once again for this opportunity.
You're welcome. And one last thing, so that in the main place that will be held will be at, what is it?
40 Truman, our substation, we'll start out, and hopefully we get too big for that location, and then we can explore some of the space at our community center.
That's right. That's right. All right, Chief, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Have a great night. Bye-bye. So let me get a motion to adjourn. Councilor Muller?
So moved.
Okay, it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. This Public Safety Committee meeting is over at 6:45 PM. And in 15 minutes, we will begin our city council. At 7 PM, we will start. Thank you. to take your seats so we can begin our council meeting this evening. So welcome to City Hall here in New London. Tonight's council meeting, September 15th, 2025. At this moment, I want to welcome Mayor Passero, Attorney Eastep, Director McBride, Chief of Police Brian Wright, our Chief of Firefighters, Fire Chief Scow is here this evening with us. All those that are here sitting in the audience, thank you for coming here tonight. Those that are watching on our YouTube channel, thank you for listening and for being there where you're at. And at this time, I'm going to ask our Administrative Assistant to do the roll call for us so we can get started.
President Dominguez,
Present.
President Pro Tem Peck,
Present.
Councilor Dice,
Present.
Councilor Hart,
Present.
Councilor Mueller,
Present.
Councilor Sadi,
Present.
and Councilor Rosario. 6 present.
All right, thank you. At this time, I will be doing the pledge and pledge of allegiance. Let us rise. Heavenly Father, I come before you with thankful heart for bringing us together today. I ask you for your wisdom and guidance as we discuss the important matters before us, so that our decisions may be righteous in your sight and benefit all that live here in the city of New London. Thank you for your peace. Thank you for your spirit. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to do it in Spanish. Prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América, a la república que representa una nación ante Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos. Thank you. You may sit. All right, at this time, we have a presentation by our police chief, Brian Wright. Please come forward, sir.
Thank you once again. If Mr. Green, DeMarcus Green, would be so kind to come forward, please.
All right.
Tonight, we're going to be honoring a special young man and give a synopsis of what brings this young man and us here tonight. On April 28th of this year at approximately 10:13 p.m., officers were dispatched to a violent domestic incident at Taco Bell in New London. During the encounter, a man attempted to forcibly kidnap a woman by carrying her towards his vehicle. Taco Bell employee DeMarcus Green courageously intervened, placing himself in harm's way to protect the woman. His actions distracted the aggressor long enough for her to escape to safety. In the process, Mr. Green was violently assaulted, suffering multiple facial fractures that required extensive medical treatment and surgeries. You couldn't tell by the good looks of this young man here tonight.
Wow.
The suspect fled before officer arrived, but later crashed his vehicle in Waterford, sustaining severe injuries. Because of DeMarcus Green's bravery, the woman was able to escape what could have been a life-threatening situation. His selfless actions went far and beyond what could be expected of a private citizen and represent true heroism, the service of another. Also present tonight, I have Officer Joseph Knott. If I could have you come up front, please. This act was presented and submitted by Officer Knott, who was one of the first responding officers at that event. Here I have a letter of commendation presented to you, Mr. DeMarcus Green, in grateful recognition of extraordinary courage and selfless action on April 28, 2025. During a violent incident at Taco Bell in New London, a man attempted to forcibly kidnap a woman and carry her to his vehicle. Without regard for your own safety, you intervened, placing yourself directly in harm's way. Your decisive actions distracted the aggressor long enough for the woman to escape safely. In doing so, you were violently assaulted and sustained severe injuries requiring extensive medical treatment and surgeries. Yet because of your bravery, a life-threatening situation was averted and an innocent victim was protected. Mr. Green, your conduct exemplifies the highest ideals of civic duty and personal courage. Your willingness to stand up for another at great personal cost demonstrates true heroism and reflects great credit upon yourself and the community you serve. On behalf of the City of New London and the New London Police Department, we proudly recognize you, Mr. DeMarcus Green, for your heroism and extent of our deepest gratitude, signed this 15th day of September 2025.
Come on, let us stand. You know, you grew up watching movies and seeing things like that happen, and then for it to happen in our city, you know, and that shows the courage of this young man and his upbringing. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the lives you saved. Incredible. All right, with that, thank you, Chief. We will continue, no public hearings. Minutes of the previous meeting, I need a motion to approve the regular meetings
So
of
moved.
September 2nd, 2025.
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
Moved
Rihanna
and
Dice.
seconded. Councilor Sadi?
So, in review of the minutes, under public comment, I guess this is a question for our assistant. Sarah Turner, 115 Riverview Ave, 1, 2, 3, fourth line down, and you have, they always have access to guidance counselors, does that mean have or had? It sounded to me when she was talking that they had access to had? Okay, so the word there is have? Yeah, if she said had as opposed to have, I wouldn't mind having that changed because, and then all the way down to 5C, where I made a motion to add an item to the agenda. On the second line, and it said providing 5 security, and do you know whether I said, I may have made the mistake because somebody else mentioned that to me.
You said I listened to that part.
I said
said security.
Okay, so then it has to stand that way. I meant crossing guard, but I guess I said the wrong word. I have, hold on a minute. So, page 7 of 11, last paragraph, Director Reyes, and the statement ends with, for example. And there's no, I think I took a look at the next page, I did not see.
Read the sentence.
Right.
We know which ones have to be emptied once a week, for example. It's the end.
Okay, so that will not be changed. Thank you, Council Mueller. So no further questions or changes. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Sadi. All right, no omissions, no additions, no abstentions, we're going to vote. All right, all those in favor to approve the minutes of September 2nd, 2025, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The motion carries. All right, now we move on to public comment. Okay, all right. Tonight, those that have been coming up to reading and sharing their comments with us this evening and with the city of New London, make sure when you sit in that chair that the mic, there's a green light, make sure it is green. Make sure the mic, you come up right close to the mic and make sure you speak right into the mic. Again, this is for public record. We'll make sure that you are able to be heard, not only here in this chamber, but also it's being recorded, that it's you're also being able to be heard on the recording, whether people are watching it now or later on. Again, you will have 3 minutes to share your public comment. After the 1 minute, after 2 minutes have gone away, I'm going to time you. So you'll have 1 minute left. I'll let you know, give you a warning. After that, I would like you to start closing on your comment. All right? With that said, make sure also that you state your full address and your full name when you come up here. Again, this is for public record. All right, without further ado, our first speaker of the night, hold on, will be Jessica, then it'll be John, then it'll be Connie, Greg, Craig, and then Lee. That's the order. Once they're done, you can just come up. All right, so again, Jessica, John, Connie, Craig, and then Lee is the last speaker. You have the floor, go ahead.
Hello, Jessica McCready, 44 Lincoln Avenue. I want to speak for a few moments on the ordinance that's being proposed for the automatic traffic enforcement safety devices. First, I want to say that I'm very much in support of these devices. There's just a few pieces of the ordinance that I wanted to review. The first thing I was a little concerned about was in the definitions on line E, subsection E, where it says that the personal identifiable information will include financial information such as bank account, credit, and debit card number. I was a little concerned, and I wasn't sure why that needed to be pulled for this ordinance. And I feel if it's included in the definition, it'll be something that you have automatic access to, and I think that's a little bit intrusive. The second thing I wanted to ask about was what the impact is to the individual if the fine is not paid, if there's going to be any recourse for that, and how will it be enforced if the fines are not paid by the individual. That's just more of a curiosity question for me. And then my last question for you guys, or and on behalf of the ordinance, is for the defenses section. What happens if the owner of the vehicle is not the one driving it? That is not one of the listed appealable defenses. And I know, for instance, there are a number of times that maybe my husband's driving the car that's registered to me, and I would be the one getting the fine. I know people let people borrow their vehicles, and other people would be incurring the fine when it's not necessarily theirs. So those are just my questions, and I appreciate any feedback. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is John Kirkland. I'm from 71 Stewart Avenue. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and fellow residents of New London. I'm sitting here before you tonight about the pressing issue facing our community, the proposed implementation of the Automated Traffic Enforcement Safety Devices, or ATESDs. While the goal is improving public safety, which is one that we all share, we must be critical of the methods we're using to employ and achieve it. I'm here to argue about this particular approach, while perhaps well-intentioned, poses significant dangers to our fundamental liberties and our community's equity. As citizens of Connecticut, we live in the Constitution state. It's not just a slogan, it's a profound and weighty responsibility. It means we have the duty to uphold the principles of due process, fair treatment, and the protection of individual rights. The very root of the American constitutionalism traces all the way back to Connecticut, and we must honor that legacy. The use of automated and personal ticketing systems, however, fundamentally undermines this principle. The system directly implicates our constitutional right. It raises serious Fourth Amendment concerns regarding unreasonable search and seizures, as it establishes a form of dragnet surveillance that records every driver without individualized suspicion or probable cause that traditionally justifies a traffic stop. Furthermore, the involvement of a for-profit third-party system creates a 14th Amendment due process violation. This model introduces a dangerous bias where financial incentives may overshadow the pursuit of fair and impartial justice, despite the state requirement to have a local review of the citation. And we must address the issue of equity. An ATESD system disproportionately impacts our low-income communities. It's a regressive tax. A flat rate fee of $50 and an additional administration fee of $15 means it takes up a much larger percentage of our low-income residents here in New London. A minor inconvenience for some of us, but that can mean the difference between groceries or not for someone else. We have other options. We can invest in proven methods of public safety, such as more visible community policing, target patrols in known problem areas, and improved infrastructure like better signage and road design. These approaches put public service and human judgment first, not private profit. Let us not outsource our responsibilities to a technology that profits from penalizing our most vulnerable citizens. As a city council, it's our duty to protect all residents. Let's find a solution that upholds our constitutional values and build a safer, more equitable community for everyone in New London. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Connie Fields. I live at 36 Mahan Street. And I'm here a little frustrated with the city of New London, I guess, as a whole. But I'll continue to try to be supportive. I found out that the city accepted money from Yale New Haven Health and named part of the community center after them. We were disgusted as our union. We're the largest union in New London, and for you, the city, to accept money from them is a slap in our face. We're still fighting for a livable wage to live in New London, even though the income base now, rents alone have tripled. And I have 268 members that live in New London. And we're disgusted. We're offended, and we feel disrespected. This is the same organization that wants to cut pediatric inpatient stay at the hospital. And they'll ship them to Yale New Haven. The cost is absorbed by the families. I think you guys really need to take a hard look as to what Yale New Haven is doing to their employees and to their patients and to the families, especially the poor families in New London. When they get down to New Haven, they have to pay for parking that they can't afford. They have to sometimes stay over and leave kids at home and have kids at the hospital. It's not as convenient. And we're taking money from them. It's disgusting. We don't need $250,000 that bad that we have to name a part of anything after them. That's all I have.
Good evening, everyone. I'll do my best to be in my 3 minutes, but no promises. Lee McCready, 44 Lincoln Avenue. As you are aware, last year I had a meeting with the assessor about my taxes, where she lied to the Board of Assessment Appeals, giving her opinion as fact from the attorney about how I don't deserve a reduction in my deed-restricted property, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit today because she is clearly still employed. That's a matter that I've had a problem with the city for a long time, and nobody seems to care. The next thing I want to talk about is because of this complaint, went through the ethics job here, and that was a long process, and it was determined that she admitted that she misrepresented what the advice she was received from the city attorney. And basically, Attorney Lonergan was given permission by the mayor to break privilege and testify before the ethics board. And he admitted to them that he said none of the words that she claimed were told to her. Fast forward to the ethics Freedom of Information request. I filed the Freedom of Information request on this ethics complaint that I had, and part of the information was given to me by Attorney Lonergan's office and the city attorney, as they always do. We went through 2 separate hearings where Attorney Estep himself lied to the Freedom of Information Council, saying that there were no communications whatsoever between him or the ethics board or Dr. DeRobio, who is the chairman of the ethics board, stating there was no communication with Donna Ralston's city attorney, appointed attorney for her union council. However, I have in my hand right here communications from him to her attorney telling her what to say to get out of trouble. Right here in my stupid little hand, right here is email communications from you to her attorney telling her
Mr. Grady,
what to say.
Mr. Grady, hold on, sir.
Telling her what to
Representing
say.
to us, we are the council.
Telling her what to say to get out of the trouble. Right here, proof. This city attorney who represents you in deals lied to the state of Connecticut, the Freedom of Information Commission, myself, the city of New London, and its residents. Right here is that lie. The Freedom of Information Commission determined that they violated 4 times the statutes in fulfilling my Freedom of Information requests. Twice 1-210 and twice 2-12, 1-212. That's 4 separate violations, all right? And now, we have Attorney Lonergan and the assessor
10 seconds, sir.
going to court and withholding discovery and I know some of you in this room are lawyers, withheld discovery. I am not done.
Time.
I don't care.
I know, but this time.
I appreciate that, but it's
I
too
understand,
bad.
but-
I have more to say.
But be respectful.
I am being respectful.
We gave you 3 minutes.
I waited to be
I
last.
understand, but if I give you more than 3 minutes, then that's unfair to Connie, that's unfair to the other gentleman, that's unfair. It's unfair. No, we can't share time, Connie. He has 3 minutes allotted.
I'm
That's how it
sorry,
is.
but I'm going to continue.
Well,
You can interrupt me all you want,
I know, but-
President, but I'm going to continue.
I understand the...
$25,000 have been paid to this law office
I
to defend
understand.
$3,000 in taxes. $25,000.
Lee, I hear you, we hear you, but the time is up.
20,
Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. There's made a motion, there's been a second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. This meeting stands in recess. Councilor Dice?
Through you, President, it's been an interesting evening thus far, and I do appreciate people bringing forth things that they're concerned about. And just being mindful, some things the council is, have no control over because it's not their component. But I do appreciate bringing up about Connie Fields, just about living wage and about the importance of making sure that employees are receiving a living wage, and just about the concerns, because you not only mention about the workers, you mention about the families and the children, and sharing components that we need to be mindful of, like the cost of if a child get transferred to New Haven, the cost of parking, things that some of us are not exposed to. And I think those things are very important when we come forth. And looking forward to talking more about the agenda, 8.6, and I yield the floor, and thank you.
Pro Tem Peck?
Thank you, President Dominguez. I'd like to just thank everybody for coming out this evening. Mr. McCready, I accept your apology. I know you're very passionate about what's going on, but, you know, we do have structure here, and we have to adhere to it. So I'm glad that you did formally apologize and accept that. To Ms. Fields, thank you for advocating for those that are working at L&M Hospital. I do share your same sentiment, and the fact that what I witnessed, and this is just my opinion, that Yale New Haven Hospital does a lot for the community in New Haven, but could do more with this community here in London. And I say that because Yale New Haven donates a lot of money to New Haven. I know it's a bigger city than New London, but still, we are a city, and they do provide more as far as assistance, and I believe they, the treatment of workers are probably a little bit better at Yale New Haven Hospital in New Haven. And this is just my own opinion, I could be wrong, but thank you for bringing that to our attention and making us aware of this situation, and it's duly noted. Once again, I would like to thank the chief for presenting this award this evening, because that speaks highly of who New London, who we are in New London, and just the fact that we have a lot of great people here in the city, and that there are a lot of people who go out of their way to think less of themselves and think more of others. So I am not surprised, you know, being a native New Londoner, and that's why I'm proud of my city. So I just yield the floor, and thank you all for coming out tonight.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Sadi?
Thank you to all those that came out this evening. Thank you to Jessica McCready for bringing up the 8.6. To the gentleman, Scott, I did not actually catch your last name or phone number, phone number, address, and I need you, if you would kindly just leave it for me at some point in time. I would like to listen to you more on what you had to say. Connie Fields, the same thing. I think you have my number. Please give me a call, because again, I would like to discuss at length your concerns regarding us accepting money from Yale New Haven. And I didn't really actually write what Lee was here for, but I know some of it had to do with ethics complaints. But again, to all those that came out tonight, thank you very much.
Okay. Councilor Muller? All right, thank you to everyone that was here this evening and we got the opportunity to speak. Mr. Lee McGreedy, we accept the apology. I know you're very passionate about what you're saying. And again, as the president of the council, I always want to make sure I remind everyone you come to speak to the council. All right, as long as you're being respectful, it's fine. You're speaking to us, we're the council. All right, if this was the mayor's thing, it was the mayor, but this is the council. So I always make sure that you address us, look at us, address us, and the other thing is that it's only right there, we go by what we are given the time limit, all right? We could do 10 minutes, but it's not, it's 3 minutes. What you can do next time, anyone, if you have more, email it, okay? You can email it to our administrative assistant, you can email it to us, you can email it to the DA, you can email it to the news, you can, wherever. You have the opportunity, but we always want to make sure that we keep this decorum that we have, out of respect for everyone, all right? That doesn't mean you can't say what you have to say. You say it in a respectful way, you have your 3 minutes to say it, but address the council. That's what we're elected for, all right? And again, there's a lot of things that it's difficult for us because it's not our decisions, but, there's other things that we can help out when it comes to that. So with that said, thank you, everyone. Don't stop coming, keep coming. We appreciate when you voice your concerns to us. And with that said, we're going to continue tonight with what's next. No petitions, responsibility comment, with the direct reports and communications. We have Attorney Eastep tonight in place of Attorney Landrigan. So welcome, sir. Does anyone have any questions for Attorney Eastep? All right, Councilor Sadi, go ahead.
Through you, Council President, to Attorney Eastep, regarding the memorandum sent to us by Attorney Lonergan on August 25th. And my apologies. Number one, on the general side, number one, 14019 Thames River property emails with Connecticut DOT and ODP re possible settlement to taking and remaining area. Do you know what that's about, or?
I
If
believe,
not, it may be Attorney Lonergan, so.
no, there are discussions regarding some additional properties in order for these apartments property. They're seeking some additional land, is my understanding, and there's discussions with them about obtaining it. Sorry? The mayor sounds like he's...
So, as you know, the northbound span, which is the south span of I-95, is being rebuilt. It's a massive project. It's going to go on for 4 years at least. We received a letter some months ago from DOT telling us that they were going to take the Thames River apartment property by eminent domain. And they were willing to discuss the compensation for it. But failing an agreement, we would go to court, and the court would decide what the compensation is. But there was no discussion on, like, number one, how touchy the subject of eminent domain is in New London. Number two, the fact that DECD spent $4 million in order to give the city this economic development opportunity for that property. And we are obligated to fulfill that deal with DECD, and we're in the process of getting ready to market the property. In the meantime, of course, we're making very good revenue on a lease with Mohawk. Of course, Mohawk is currently using it as laydown space for their port development project under their MARAD grant that the city is administering. So it got very complicated. Attorney Lonergan has done a great job representing us. We think we have an agreement with DOT at this point to divide the property, give them what they need, leave us the portion basically along Crystal Avenue. They would take a portion at the end of Cole Street and where Lewis Street comes off. And I think we're still negotiating the compensation, but I believe we've finally negotiated a way out of the conundrum. However, HUD has just, there seems to be a problem with HUD and perhaps something on the land records that HUD would have to release. So it's still complicated, but relatively optimistic that we'll be able to work out an agreement.
Thank you, I have no further questions.
Okay, anyone else? See you now? Okay, thank you, Attorney Eastep. Right. All right, council committee reports. This evening, we had a public safety committee meeting. The members are Councilor Miller, myself, and also Councilor Rosario. We had our Chief of Police, Brian Wright, present the new youth initiative called Gaming with Cops, which eventually is going to be rolled out sometime in October. We're looking forward to that. So again, thank you, Chief, for tonight's presentation. With that, we'll move on to Mayor's
Point of order.
office. Yes.
Just
What happened?
regarding
Hold on, wait.
Pedestrian Advisory Council was scheduled to meet the first Thursday of the month, and they did not meet because there was a lack of a quorum. So if there's anybody interested in serving on that committee, please put your applications in. And hopefully, we'll have an administration committee meeting shortly.
Yep.
To fill any vacancies.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Parks and Recs Commission also met this Wednesday past. There was not anything controversial to be decided at that meeting, but Kathy Struther did report from the Riverside Conservancy about damaged bollards at Riverside Park, allowing traffic to access the park where they're not supposed to. So I just want to make sure every counselor sees this update. It's probably buried somewhere in our packets every once in a while. But Parks and Rec Commission has started putting a regular summary of the maintenance that's needed at our parks for us to keep track on and to do accountability to make sure it gets done. So I know the commission administrative assistant has provided a copy to the council, and I think, Jenny, you're on the receiving list for that now? Okay, so that can get distributed with our packets, but it can also be the subject of more specific inquiry if we want to do that. So yes, just look out for this park summary here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Okay, with that, we are going to move into the Mayor's Office Communications. Good evening, Mayor Paso. You have the floor, sir.
Yes, good evening, Mr. President, members of council, community members. I'm going to start first by thanking all of the people that came out on Community Cleanup Day, which was August 23rd, Saturday, August 23rd. It was a great weather day. A lot of people gave up a good portion of their day to participate in cleanup projects in their particular neighborhoods. I was really amazed at the turnout that we had that day. In fact, over 150 residents turned out.
Nice.
I want to recognize our Community Development Office and specifically Yamila Mateo for organizing the event. Really is a good feel thing. We also had help with the organization from the Cultural District, from Bates Friends Forever. Thank you for their continued work at Bates Woods and the Freedom Trail neighborhood. So we look forward to that, and also if any neighborhood group would like to schedule their own cleanup, the city provides a van that contains any cleanup material or anything that you would, any tools or anything that you would need for the cleanup, right down to gloves, work gloves, and Public Works will then follow through and pick up anything, any bags of trash or anything that needs to be bulky waste, anything from your neighborhood that needs to be disposed of. So specific neighborhoods can organize their own cleanup at any point in the city. We'll support that. Speaking of the Freedom Trail neighborhood, the park that we've been working to remediate at the corner of Hempstead Street and, Frida, help me, I'm having a senior moment. Hope Street. Hempstead and Hope Street, the former Shiloh property, that is moving along. The remediation company is in there. The project has been a dream for this neighborhood for well over a decade. We did manage to acquire the property 3 or 4 years ago, and we've been working with DEP and the EPA to assemble the money to remediate it and turn it into a community park. So it's pretty exciting. Go by there as you'll see the progress. I want to thank the OpSale Connecticut Committee for putting together another Maritime Heritage Festival. This is a state event. It was weekend before last, and a couple of the highlights was the burning of Benedict Arnold. It drew a huge crowd, and that was followed by the drone show. I'm not sure that a lot of people have seen drone shows yet, but now New London has experienced a drone show. So thanks to Barbara Neff and the OpSale Committee for putting that together. It was a great weekend. We have some upcoming events, including one put together by Chief Wright and our PD. That is an event called Stop Hate Together, and it's a community program about hate crimes. It's going to take place at the new Community Recreation Center, and that's going to be on Wednesday, September 17th. That's this Wednesday. This Wednesday, coming up quick, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., and we're certainly expecting a great turnout for that. And I hope to see you all there. It's really very timely right now. The Harvest Festival, which is an annual event at the Old Mill, is going to be September 27th. Hispanic Heritage Festival is this coming Saturday, September 20th. And Somos New London, the We Are New London Parade, is Sunday, the 28th. Now, also, I'm really looking forward to this one on October 8th, is the food stroll. We have a lot of great restaurants. Downtown is thriving, and we get to show it off on October 8th. Happy to report that Habitat Humanities project on Adelaide Street was the site plans for the 3 two-family owner-occupied houses were approved by Planning and Zoning on September 4th, at their meeting on September 4th. This is going to be a very impactful affordable housing project. We're looking at 16 bedrooms, 24 bedrooms, 3 buildings, 2 families, 6 units, 4 bedrooms apiece. I don't think they all have 4 bedrooms, but 3 to 4 bedrooms, some 4 bedrooms. This is important housing because we have a shortage of housing, but we especially have a shortage of housing to accommodate larger families. So the 4-bedroom units are really, really important, and they're in the shortest supply in our market. So this is a great, impactful project. We also, as you know from the motion that was tabled 2 weeks ago, we will be bringing you a contract on October 6th. Tom Bombria is working on that in the Community Development Office to have the remediation company come in and prepare the site across the street to move the community garden there ahead of the breaking ground for the Habitat project. So all of that is going on right now. I also want to congratulate Lieutenant Matt Kasseri. He is the most recent graduate of the New London Police Department from the FBI's National Academy. It's located in Quantico, Virginia. It's a professional course of study of U.S. and international law enforcement leaders. It provides coursework in intelligence, counterterrorism, management science. It's a really, really tough curriculum. It's competitive to get into, and we're proud of Lieutenant Kasseri for achieving this accomplishment. He is the 3rd active member of the department now to have this training behind our chief, Brian Wright, and Captain Todd Burgess. So congratulations to Lieutenant Kasseri. He's he does our department proud. I'm just going to touch briefly on Ms. Fields. Excuse me. This would have been a bad thing, but the Brew Fest is this weekend. The Rotary Club's annual Brew Fest. This is a major fundraiser for one of our major charitable organizations, New London Rotary. Their Brew Fest, which is a well-attended event always, is this Friday, 6 to 9, the 19th, at Ocean Beach Park. The weather's going to be fabulous. This will be a great event, and yours truly will also be serving. So thank you for that. But I do want to address Ms. Fields' comments about accepting L&M's donation. I'm disappointed that there is still a deadlock in the negotiations between L&M, Yale New Haven, and the local that Ms. Fields represents. I've worked hard to try to help break that impasse, have not given up, happy to get back involved, but L&M also is a community member here and does other good work, notwithstanding disagreements on labor policies. I believe that I speak for myself, the administration, certainly this council, our support for the employees at L&M. They deserve a collective bargaining agreement. This impasse has gone on way too long, and this is not a sign of lack of support for the employees, or that we're walking away from our commitment to ensure that you folks get a contract. But L&M has been contributing to this community all along. In fact, the Freedom Trail Park that's being created, it was L&M that actually provided the money to enable us to buy that piece of land from the Shiloh congregation. They've done a number of community outreach in that manner, and I believe that it does not really contradict our commitment to the employees there, and I know you'll disagree with me, but I recommit my efforts to help to resolve this impasse, and as you know, I've been involved in the past, and I'll recommit to that. And with that, Mr. President, unless you have questions, I complete my report.
All right, I'm going to thank you, Mayor Pastro. I'm going to start with President Pro Tem. Go ahead.
Thank you, President Dominguez. I just want to remind you about one event that happened yesterday, Mayor. You were there, the Corvette show. I know you went to a lot, but we can't remiss to forget to.
Oh yeah, the 4 Corvettes Only Club put on their annual show at Ocean Beach. It was more successful than ever. There was over 400 cars. The money that's raised at that is donated by that club to various community organizations here in the city. The club's led by Mark Christensen. He's a businessman with Jan Electronics, and he is also a former chair of our Planning and Zoning Commission. We thank him for organizing that event. It was a great day, over 400 Corvettes, just a phenomenal turnout. There also was a boxing tournament at the rec center over the weekend that was well attended, and it was great to showcase a beautiful venue for an event like that, and they did a great job too. So it was, as usual, a busy weekend here in New London.
Okay, anyone else? All right, thank you, Mayor. Oh,
Sorry.
all right, Councilor Sadi.
Yeah, no, I just want to say thank you for discussing Riverside Park Community Garden, because that was one of the questions I had. So you said that will be on the October 6th agenda.
Yeah, if you remember, at the last meeting, we tabled it to October 6th. We needed that time to get a contract with to do the actual remediation.
Thank you
So
very
we'll
much.
have an appropriation ordinance and a contract on the next agenda.
Thank you.
At least that's the plan.
Yes.
All right,
Sorry, yes.
no, I was waiting on you, Councilor Sadi, thank you. All right, thank you, Mayor Castro. Thank you. All right, with that said, President Pro Tem Peck, you have the consent agenda, please.
Thank you, President. Consent agenda, that the consent agenda proposed set forth at the regular meeting of September 15, 2025 are either accepted for the record, to refer to the committee name, 3, waived from the committee, to be acted upon as proposed, or 4, consented to as proposed. Thank you.
All right, can I have a second?
Second, Rihanna Dice.
Thank you. All right, councilors, I'm gonna read these items. If you're gonna pull one, please state your name. All right, 7.0 unfinished business, 7.1 A, B, C, D, E, 8.0 new business, 8.1.
Pull, Rihanna Dice.
Thank you. 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, A and B.
8.4A and B, Council Sadi.
All right, thank you. All right, 8.5, 8.6. Okay. 8.7. Thank you. 8.8. All right. Sadi, all right. No appointments, no executive session, adjournment. All right, let's go, President Pro Tem, Peck.
All items have unanimous support of City Council, are hereby adopted with a single roll call vote. The motions are seconded, the chair calls the roll call, and the chair declares the motion to be unanimously voted and adopted. Thank you.
All right. Our Administrative Assistant is going to make the roll call vote, guys, okay?
Counselor Dice?
Yes.
Counselor Hurt?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Peck?
Yes.
Counselor Muller?
Yes.
President Dominguez?
Yes.
Counselor Sadi?
Yes.
That's 6 yes.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, remember, councilors, we're going to make sure you move to Cam first, wait for the second, and then begin. We're going to move up 8.7, Ordinance Community Center. That's Councilor Muller. Yeah.
I know, move to Cam.
Second.
The City Council, 8.7. The City Council approves ordinance 09152504 in the amount of $950,000 made from a transfer in from American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds allotted to the Community Center Construction Project in Fund 3600, Project COMCT. The ordinance is given its first and second readings in the process of passage by title only. All councilors having copies, and the third reading of the subject ordinance is adopted by roll call vote. Good evening, Director Reyes. Thank you for coming.
It's working?
I pulled this.
Hold on, Councilor, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Do we have because that mic, it's not working. Yeah, we'll wait until you get the mic. Thank you, Councilor Muller. Oh, it was unplugged.
Sorry,
All right,
little electricity issue there.
all right. All right.
Probably somebody's foot got stuck in the wire and pulled it out.
I think that was it.
All right, all
Thank
right.
you. You have the floor, Councilor Muller.
I'm here.
Thank you, Director Reyes. I pulled this, I'm sure not surprised. It's $1 million moving around.
That's correct.
I was not on the council at the time that these decisions were made back in March. Tonight, we were provided some minutes and it looks like some supporting material that might have been provided to the council at the time that they made whatever decision they made, but I'm not privy to it, so I'm hoping that you can just tell us and everyone who's listening what's
Sure.
going on with this money. Thank you.
Sure. So as part of the $42+ million that were appropriated for the project, during COVID, obviously, the city was given federal dollars to manage, and at that time, we allocated $1 million towards the community center. We didn't have an actual use for other than leveraging some dollars, knowing that we were going to need it down the road somewhere, but we leveraged those dollars for grants with the federal government and the state. So as the project was underway, we made a decision to allocate and utilize those that $950,000 for the startup. That was always part of the business model, that as memberships ramped up, as the community center was up and running, we didn't want that burden to fall back on the taxpayer, so we planned ahead and provided the community center with this $1 million cushion to get us to sustainability. So during the budget process, we provided the council in the spring 1-year pro forma that showed how and where the money was going to be utilized for. So that's what the $950 is for. It's for the year 1 and year 2. The first year was an $833,000 allocation for the first year, and then the remainder would fall into year 2. Because we didn't have our enterprise fund set up at the time, there was nowhere to put the money into and for the community center. So now that the enterprise fund is established, the finance director now has to transfer the $950 into that fund, so now we can start using that to help pay the bills and offset the cost of running the facility.
Again, I guess I'm looking for a little bit of help, perhaps from my fellow counselors who were here. I guess I'm hearing that we're planning on an $833,000 loss in the first year and then a slightly less loss in the second, I'm assuming? 'Cause I see 1 year of financials and the stuff that was provided to me from March. I assume it was from March, and it shows that net income operating loss over 12 months, but I don't have anything beyond that.
That's correct. So, so what we promised the council was that we would come to you guys every single year and give you a 1-year budget of the community center, and at the same time, we can have discussion on what the member rates are, what are some of the incentives, what's working, what's not working, especially this is a brand new, obviously, business proposition, and we needed to manage this kind of month to month the first year, and then obviously as we figure out how the finances flow, we got a better understanding of what we should be charging, what some of the operating costs truly are versus an estimate, right? So next year, we're gonna have like real cost, this is what it really, so next year's conversation, we're gonna have a tighter budget, we're gonna understand what we're seeing for membership drive, are we above, are we below, are we spending more money, spending less money, just to ensure that we're protecting the taxpayer of having to put this burden on them. That was always the promise when we put this business model together, was build a sustainable build up our membership, but we always knew we were gonna need some upfront capital to get us there. And this was a great opportunity when we first did this business model with this council who bonded the $30 million. It was known that the first few years, we were gonna have to put in some dollars. But when ARPA came, we said, well, now we don't have to do that anymore. Let's plan ahead, use this grant dollars to use to fill that gap instead of using the general fund dollars. So that's what we decided to do.
Okay, my last question for the moment, I can't say it might be my last question, but
And you can please reach out to me.
I will.
Like, yeah, please, because this, I know it's tough in a public setting, but you shouldn't be uninformed.
well, it's hard.
I know, it's difficult.
I will just tell anybody, it's hard. I'm new here, and we get our agenda on Wednesday, and Monday's the meeting, so it doesn't allow for that much time to really dive into the documents and understand
What you're
the
reading, yeah,
cadence of
yeah.
what's been happening here. My last question for the moment will be, when you say a yearly update, when? When is that year? I mean, now we're open and now we're operating, so now you have real data.
So I would say and the finance director can correct me if I'm wrong, he likes to start having conversations right after the new year. That's when we start, because like budget season is from like January 1st. I get like that first email from finance, like, all right, now we're starting to think about it. What are our budget constraints? Things we have to pull back just to make sure that we're made whole on the current fiscal year, but we're also thinking about the next fiscal year. So right when we get into, February, March, we're starting to have the conversations. By April, we're looking at real budgets for the following year. So those conversations, we're gonna be 6 months in, we're gonna start having those next January
Good,
already.
okay, Good. Well, I'm sure it's the same for you, and I'm sure my fellow counselors, we get a lot of questions and a lot of feedback on the rec center.
Yeah.
So anything that you can give us by way of information to help us have those conversations is really greatly appreciated. So thank you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, and I leave it to Council President. I think we've been doing it like maybe quarterly or every 6 months, but now that it's open, there's a lot more to share. Not that the construction, and it was a lot to get to the finish line there, but I'm more than happy to come back and just give some quick updates on kind of like the top 5 things that are happening. What are we hearing? What's the administration hearing? What am I hearing? What are some of the things the residents are hearing? And it gives you guys the opportunity to say, hey, listen, this is the conversations that we're having, and we can do that as well.
Yep. You good? All right, thank you, very good finish. We're going to start that again.
Yeah,
We'll just
absolutely.
start that. I'm just answering him. I'm going to now go and say, are there any other councilors? Okay, Councilor Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Director Reyes. I wanted to talk a little bit about affordability. And I know that's, to be frank, I'm not going to hold up the money on affordability, because this is something that we already discussed and agreed to. Check is written, check must clear. But one of the other things that we discussed when we agreed to this whole plan was making sure affordability was front and center. I see that you have one line in your letter to us that you've moved away from a sliding scale. When I've asked recently at Parks and Rec, I was told that the same scholarship process, and that's what you told me before, the same scholarship process for our other Parks and Recs program is in effect here.
Correct.
When you say we've moved away from a sliding scale model, that
I can
wouldn't
explain
take
what
away
that
the
is.
scholarship, would it?
No. A sliding scale is basically, it's a one-off. Someone comes in and goes through the whole process. This is how much I make. Now you jump into that. What we found out, and it's a difficult conversation to have, but there's a large portion of the population that is just not comfortable going through the process of sitting down and open up their personal books to see, where do I fall in this? So we had to simplify that and break this down of how do we serve our residents where they're not afraid to come to the front door and come in. And what we did was we established resident rate, non-resident rate, right? So we already separated them to have a lower rate. And then we adopted the rec program scholarship form. We have it in English now, we have it in English and we have it in Spanish now, where it's a simple application, that the category in the application is exactly the same, because we know our families. The rec department does an amazing job working with the community center, saying, these are the families, these are the ones we're inviting in, and what we're seeing is that what we set last year in regards to membership rates, creating like household caps, all of that is what the New London families are taking advantage of the most. So they're either, obviously they're taking advantage of resident rate, they're taking advantage of scholarships, and then they're taking advantage of the caps. So we're seeing all that fill in, that is addressing, how do you come up with a system that matches the same impact or greater of the sliding scale without creating hurdles. And the reality is that in our pro forma, we're looking at, $36 a unit per account. We're looking at $36 a person on average. And what we're seeing with New London residents is much lower than that, right? So that's a great thing, and then a business thing that we just have to address. The great thing is that the New London residents are utilizing all the incentives. So we're seeing that. So that's great, right? We're not seeing roadblocks. That just means that on the revenue side, we just have to build up revenue, charitable contributions, things like L&M. All that does is make up the gap. So the average resident is much lower paying, much lower than the $36. So we're seeing it work. It's just not exactly what we thought it would look like 5 years ago. Now we're seeing it in practice.
All right, there was, you got a little ahead of me there.
okay.
I do appreciate the clarification that sliding scale and the scholarships are separate systems and that the scholarships are still in place.
Yes.
One of the things we talked about was not transparency, a smooth, frictionless transition between rec department staff and rec center staff, right? And I would expect them to both be putting out the same message. But what I'm hearing from people who have called asking about prices or expressing that they felt it wasn't affordable for their family was that the staff at the rec center either didn't or didn't know to send them to the rec department for the scholarship information. So I think we need to make sure our rec department is making those expectations clear to the rec center staff, that the rec center staff is following through with it, and that the information is getting out there to the public. Because people ask me what the process is, and I tell them you apply with the rec department, but the staff of the rec center is not, from what I've heard from several constituents, is not closing that gap for us. And just further on that, I see in the minutes here from the original debate, Councilor Natates, I heard the word transparency. Will this be up on a website? I want to make sure the process will be there for those families will be easy. Director Reyes, under memberships on the website, I will ensure scholarships is there with memberships so they will see it. And when I look at the website today, it is not there.
Yeah, so
both
the
rates
scholarships
are
were...
not posted with the scholarship impact, and there's no link to apply for the scholarship. So that needs to be rectified.
No, there's reason for that. So the process was just completed, I'm going to say about 2 weeks ago, in regards to getting in English, getting in Spanish, and going through probably our first 10 applications before we put it up. I mean, we're going to keep and hold to everything that we promised. Now, the timing of everything, you have to understand, this is a brand-new business model. We're not going to put anything up that's flawed. So we had several families that we utilized the process, went through it. Everyone was accepted -1, which was not a New London resident. So just so everybody knows, scholarships are only for New London residents. I just want to make that clear. That's always a question we get from other towns. And so now that we have it in both English and Spanish, our marketing meeting last week came through, it said everything is ready to go, be posted, it will be on the link. Once it's up on the link, I'll send it out to City Council and let you know that it is live. But that's just the process. But no one forgot, that's 100% always on the agenda when we talk about this.
All right, appreciate that answer. So just to clarify, you said a couple of weeks. We're going to meet again in a couple of weeks. Will we meet again in a couple of weeks? This will be on the website live?
Well, I'm not making any promises. I don't run the center. What my job is from the administration is to push them to make sure that they fulfill their contractual obligations and they're doing the things that are right for it. When something happens day to day, they run the center, right? We lean on them to know exactly when things have to be done. So if they're ready to post that, because now they have the process, the software's in there, they're able to understand amounts. I mean, there's so much back-end work on the technology side. Make sure it's right. So now that we have, then we can go ahead and expect. We already have a campaign to set up to go through all our school children, all the scholarship programs going through the Board of Education. All that is all in queue. And I would say in the short period of time, I think it wouldn't be right of me to say, yes, it's going to be on there Monday. It wouldn't be honest of me to do that.
All right, can you commit to following up with them and getting me a real estimate this week to, so I know when I can look and expect to see that to be live?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. As soon as we have our next marketing meeting, we'll get a date on when that can be up by, and I'll share that in the link with the council.
Awesome. And on the first concern I had about just reminding the staff to point people to the rec department when in their phone script.
Sure.
That should be a pretty low-hanging fruit. We can do
Yeah,
that
they're all going through
administratively.
training. Yeah, I mean, they're all going through training. Rec department has been there for a little less than a month, and so far, it's been a great transition for them, I believe, at least. I mean, I can't talk for Director Posey, but that's what I've seen.
All right, cool. Let them know some of their customers might be a secret Santa, secret customer.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Councilor Sadi, did you have your hand raised? And then we'll go to Councilor Dice. And then we'll go to you.
Would you say we're in month 4 now? We've got July, August, September?
We're only in month 3. We're 3 months.
Month 3 says that the anticipated or expected enrollment will be 1638. Do we know whether or not we're at 1638 yet?
Yeah, we're way past that. We'll be at 2,000 before the end of the month. Yeah.
And I do have a little bit
80% of which, this is, and I gotta mention this because this is very important. One of the biggest and fundamental things that I kept hearing during this whole process is, will New London residents invest? Will they get a membership, right? This is a new kind of mindset of, yes, we deserve nice things here. We deserve first-class things. And I'm very proud of the New London residents because 80% of our memberships are New London residents, 80%. When we were going through this business model, we were thinking it might be a 60-40 split, 60% New London, but it's 80% residents, and not only that, our seniors are 25% of the memberships. So the whole idea that, I'm not sure if the New London residents are going to step up and really invest and take ownership of this, or I'm not sure if the seniors, or if it's cost prohibitive, stuff like that. That has not been the case. I mean, some of the seniors are honestly probably the most happy about this center. It's 25% of the 2,000, close to 2,000 people that are going there every day. Sorry, I had to put that in there. So I had to
That's good.
put that plug in there.
Those are very good numbers.
Yeah.
The only other concern I have is the $36 fee number.
Sure.
Because again, if 90% of our residents of our participants have to be children, and it's really only 25. I know that's on average of whatever, but I think now you should be able to start supplying athletes,
Yeah, so,
How many $40 memberships, how many $36 memberships, how many $20 memberships, how many, scholarship memberships, et cetera.
yeah, so that's a great question. We have a meeting with them on financials once a month. We had our first one in the middle of August to kind of understand, how are we tracking? I mean, the numbers are great, but we always have to understand that great numbers don't mean nothing if the per unit cost is not there, right? So, and what's the gap and how do we fill that gap? And what we've done and what we're seeing is that gap is being filled by, a $40,000 donation by Chelsea Ground Bank for the next 7 years, a $50,000 donation by L&M for the next 5 years. It's Breeze Line Communication with a $10,000 grant. It's the Rafa Club with $25,000. It's the Rotary Club. We have right now, have already raised for the first year well over $150,000. That's what pays the gap. Our corporate partners are the ones that are stepping in and saying, how do I make it more affordable? Yeah, if we get down, we're making $25 a person on a unit. The gap is being paid by revenues and by our corporate sponsors. I mean, that's how you make this affordable. Everybody is putting money in the pot to ensure that we have a space that's fundamentally changing the health of this community. That's how important this is. We're overwhelmed. I mean, we thought we were going to get $50,000 for the first year. Before this year ends, we will have close to $1 million of contributions allocated and dedicated to this facility over the next 7 years. That's how important. That's how we make up the difference.
Just want to go through you to Director McBride. Director McMyer, we heard earlier that this $950,000 was in fact allocated with ARPA funds a few years back. Could you just discuss that a little bit, please?
Yeah, I think the purpose for this on the agenda this evening is really an accounting transaction. When the council, as you know, the council approved this back in March, when Felix presented, then this particular 850 or 950 was also included as part of the mayor's budget package, so all of that has been approved. Tonight's function is, as Felix mentioned earlier, the enterprise fund and the general ledger account number at that time wasn't set up because we started a new fiscal year, so per accounting rules, we need to get council's approval to actually move these funds into this particular account in this enterprise fund. So it's not a matter of approving the transfer because that was approved back in March. It was in the budget, so this is really merely an accounting transaction. It's just something I routinely have to come back to you for because it's not necessarily approval of the budget, it's merely accounting. For us to go through our audit, we need to make sure that the council put the money, appropriated the money into this particular account number, which was not set up back in March. So it's merely an accounting transaction.
Thank you very much. I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Councilor Dice.
Through you, President, to the Director Reyes, I have to say thank you because as I listened to Councilor mention that this information may not have gotten out, I know the kids at the Drop and Learning Center, when they went for a tour, you did quite a few tours for them. You did a personal tour, then they had the open house. Those kids received information about the scholarships. I saw them go back to their parents, explaining about the community center and the importance of it. And I just like to say thank you. I saw other people in the community that knew about it, and as I see people, because I think we are the best advocates to let people know, hey, you need to apply, they do have funding, this is an opportunity if you think this is not something in your budget. So I am a strong supporter for the community center, but I am so proud of the young people. When I had an opportunity to go swimming, I was watching the kids go in there playing basketball. Some of them didn't have membership, but felt comfortable paying $8. And when I'm saying young people, I'm talking about the 16 to 24-year-olds.
Correct, yeah, young adults.
Yeah, the young adults, and this is what it's all about, investing in something that you're going to benefit from. But I know that the employees that was there took time to explain to my youth about the importance of the community center, but about the scholarships opportunity. And they came home with papers. So whoever was there, working there with the staffing, I gotta say thank you as I hear that there's a little gap and want to encourage them to keep going, but I want to encourage each one of us to also be out there letting people know that, you know, it's an opportunity if this is not in your budget at this time. But I hope eventually it will be in their budget because it's an investment worth doing, investing in your health. I yield the floor and thank you.
Thank you. President Pro Tem Peck.
Thank you, President Dominguez. I just want to say that I know that Director Reyes, you've been on the forefront as far as getting information out there. In the beginning, you were holding workshops in various locations throughout the city, getting input from residents, and as my fellow colleague, Councilor Dice had stated, it's kind of our job and everyone's job as a community to get the word out. I have a membership. I don't know how many of us have a membership, but I certainly have one. I know Councilor Dice does. I know President Dominguez has one. No, the mayor has one. He has 3. Okay, you have 1. Okay, so there's a lot of people. You have 2. Okay, so a lot of people.
000.
I know you're the first one.
I got the first one. Sorry.
So I say that to say that it's all of our responsibility to get the information out there because there's so many ways that people get information these days, and it's hard to kind of lock in as far as how people get the information. But I know you have been doing a great job with transparency. I've seen that. I led 2 tours in the beginning of stages during construction. I know President Dominguez did. I know Councilor Dice did. So again, you know, transparency is there. You're doing a great job with it. And of course, this is a new facility. There's a lot of bugs and things that we have to fix and a lot of, different things that we have to work out, so it takes time. I'm patient enough, but one thing I do notice when I'm there, that all the staff there are very welcoming. So if you don't have the information, you can just go. Just go there, find out the times, look on the website, go there, ask questions. All of the staff there are very knowledgeable and very friendly, and I've noticed and I've seen it, they don't just send people away. They'll give you a tour, they'll talk to you, they'll give you the pamphlet. So just if you're inquiring about scholarships or any information, just go. Just go there and ask questions, and I guarantee you will get the answers that you're looking for and more. And another plug, DICE is constantly always online promoting community centers. So please, if anybody does a commercial, I think she should be in that commercial. And I yield the floor.
I think it's important just to end with, we made a commitment, the council made a commitment, the administration made a commitment that no New London resident could ever be denied a membership based on their financial ability to pay one, right? We got to get back to the pillar of why we got into this. We knew we had to create a business model for sustainability. We knew we had to create a first-class facility, and we knew that was going to take investment. We knew all those things, but at the same time, we had to understand that some families and some kids, some moms, some dad just don't have it. Power Wellness is trained to understand, even in a scholarship application process, it still may be too much, and that's why we have our corporate sponsors, that we have businesses coming through. We have a lot of members that donate an additional membership and say, hey, listen, if a mom or a dad brings a kid and they don't have it, use this extra $20 a month that I'm paying to pay for that membership. That's how this gets done. And I tell people all the time, but I don't think it's said enough, a New London resident cannot be declined a membership based on their inability to afford it. That just cannot happen. So we have to come together as a community and figure out how does that gap get paid, because we still have a facility to run. So that's something that's important for people to share as well. If you are finding those families, those mothers, those dads, large families that have a lot of kids that just can't afford it for all of them, we have to share that to bring them in, have those conversations to make it happen. That's an important thing that I wanted to make sure I shared. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I'm glad that you shared that, Director Reyes, because that's what's the original plan, and we stand. And those that are counselors that were here, that's what we said. No one will be denied. This is New London, all right? And I love what you said. The scholarships are for New London families, residents. All right, so with that, I'm going to go into the vote. Let me see, is this a roll call? Yes, it is. Go ahead, Jenny.
President Pro Tem Peck,
Yes.
Councilor Mueller,
Yes.
Councilor Dice,
Yes.
Councilor Sadi,
Yes.
President Dominguez,
Yes.
and Councilor Hart.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, thank you. The motion carries. Next, we got 8.6, Councilor Muller, ordinance automated traffic enforcement safety devices.
Move to CAM.
Second,
City Council hereby adopts ordinance number 09152503, providing for the use of automated traffic enforcement safety devices pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 14307C. The ordinance is given its first and second readings in the process of passage by title only. All councilors having copies, and the third reading of the subject ordinance is adopted by roll call vote.
okay, we have the chief here.
Yes.
You have the floor, Councilor Muller.
Good evening, Chief Wright.
Good evening, Counselor.
Thank you so much for coming. I pulled this off of the agenda because I don't like the idea of passing an ordinance like this without having some input from the community, and I would like to hear from you, of course, about where this document came from, what you know about it, what your thoughts are. And I'm really wondering if you know, and maybe you can't tell us, but where these cameras are gonna go. Because I think that's a big question in my mind, and it leads to a lot of the questions and comment that we heard from some of our community members, and I know that was a lot, so thank you.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you for providing this opportunity to discuss such an important matter. Automated speed enforcement cameras are made possible by a law passed in 2023, Public Act 23-116. The guidelines focus on achieving safety goals equitably while avoiding negative impacts. The location is not secretive. It's not meant to not keep our citizens, our community members, our stakeholders, our visitors to the city of New London in the dark. Placement and location will be based on traffic data studies as well as site visits. The goal, as is to prioritize safety. When the program is rolled out, it will work backwards in regards to, it will take into account these locations, high traffic areas, because once again, the goal is to avoid accidents, fatalities, and things of that nature. Before implementation, we will assess potential equity impacts, consider how historical transportation, neglect, unsafe road designs, and socioeconomic disparities could affect the program. There'll be a warning period on the rollout of it, in which there'll be a campaign notifying individuals where the locations are. Leading up to the speed enforcement cameras, there'll be signage which starts at 1,000 feet and moves into 300 feet, so it will be quite publicly known where they are. The cameras will ultimately capture vehicles traveling in excess of the speed limit. At a minimum of 10 miles over, but when the program's first rolled out, it will be based on the most egregious. We'll work backwards, seeing the highest violations and move down to that way. Once again, it's meant to educate and change driver behavior. Warning period, once again, in accordance with state law, this includes a 30-day grace period after activation where only warning notices are issued to violators, and then move into a period where fines are assessed to it. It's to improve safety and reduce speeds and crashes, enhance public safety, change driver behavior, and reduce traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries. And once again, as noted, transparent signs are posted in areas where cameras are to be located to warn drivers and keep them aware of the speed enforcement cameras. Currently in the state, there are a couple locations, Washington, Connecticut being the first location, which started with one camera, and then Middletown, Connecticut, which has cameras as well. I hope I answered anything, and I'll wait for other questions so I can be more specific.
You're doing great, but it's brought me more questions. That's the lawyer in me. When you are talking about traffic studies and site visits, I'm wondering who's going to participate in those?
Well, the traffic studies are conducted by our department and the vendors. We set out cameras and marking, which grades the number of vehicles and as well as the speeds. Those locations, the information is assessed and analyzed, and see where the most egregious violations are or the highest speeds, coupled with collected data on traffic crashes and potential fatalities and past accidents at that location. Once again, the goal is to reduce those locations and make them safe for our residents and stakeholders and visitors to the city.
Okay, and you further said that you plan to consider some other factors, obviously. There's socioeconomics, there's all kinds of things implicated in what we're talking about here, and I'm concerned about an adverse impact in our, black and brown communities, quite frankly, not where I live, out in the 6th District, where I don't imagine there's going to be very many traffic cameras. So when you talk about those factors, I guess my question to you would be, how are we ensuring that we're really getting community input and it's not just coming from the world of policing? No offense to the world of policing, but because this, as I said, implicates so many other aspects of citizen life, it seems to me like it's something that we need to take a really holistic view of before we start to implement.
Absolutely. Being an individual of color, I would not be a proponent of something that would be overbearing or marginalized communities. So that is definitely taken into concept, and under my leadership, on my watch, that won't happen.
Okay. And one question about logistics, mechanics, and I think Ms. McCready raised it. It was something that came in my head as well. With traffic violations or moving violations, the officer approaches the driver and the ticket is issued to the driver. In this scenario, we're not approaching the driver. It's an electronic notification to the owner of the vehicle. So how do we deal with, well, it was John Sadi driving my car and I didn't incur that violation? I see that there's a process and you can do your appeal and probably get to court at some point. But it's sort of a glaring problem with the system in terms of people registering vehicles versus who's driving them.
That is a good question. Ultimately, as the owner of the vehicle, you are responsible, just as you are responsible to have insurance and keep the vehicle registered. There is an appeal process which exists. One of the benefits about this is there's no adverse or negative context. It's based on speed alone. No other connotation to be speculated on why this individual stopped or who was stopped, because there's no contact. It's based on violation only.
Is there a camera that's recording the driver? You can see the picture of the person, so you could see it wasn't me, it was clearly John Sadi.
There's a clear capture of the vehicle and the license plate. What happens is that's verified by a primary party, then secondary party is violated to say that the violated vehicle is Connecticut Rage 123, a red Subaru.
Okay.
And that's how it proceeds from there.
Okay, but it's not like a toll camera, because I know at toll cameras, they can see the driver in the camera.
The purpose is to capture the register and verify that it is the vehicle in question and that it comes back registered to that vehicle.
Okay, and my final question for the moment is about the cost, and I don't know, maybe it's in here and I simply missed it, but just wondering about how much this is gonna cost and who pays for it and how that works, if you know.
Yes, currently in negotiation, will be, once the ordinance passes, in negotiation with the service provider or the vendor. The approximate cost is a lease program. It's $2,500 per camera a month, with the first citation being at $50 and subsequent citations $75, which both can include a service fee or a processing fee. And initially, there's no upfront cost, no cost until the program goes fully operational. But the primary goal is not to generate money, is to ensure safer roadways for our citizens, stakeholders, and visitors to the city of New London.
Okay.
Councilor.
I think that's
I
it
know-
for the
yeah.
moment,
I
yes.
know that, yeah, thank you. I know you had a lot of questions. I usually only allow 2 per, but you know, I don't want the other councilors getting mad at me, but I know she was in a row, so that's something that we have.
Let me just say, I was not aware of that rule. I would never have violated
No,
it
that's
had I
fine.
known, so I
And that's
apologize.
why, that was my next thing. I know that Councilor Muller doesn't know that, that's why, but you know what, now, we do know, so we'll try to stick with the 2. All right, so let's go to Councilor President Pro Tem Peck.
Thank you, President Dominguez. Through you to Chief Wright. Now, Wright, as you stated, this was passed in Hartford back in 2023, and I know our state reps passed this, and I believe it was 104 to 46 vote. So there was a lot of time to have discussions about these traffic camera or traffic safety devices, whatever you want to call them. And I know they've been around for a long time. I just believe that Connecticut's a little slow with rolling out these type of devices to aid in safer flow of traffic or safer traveling habits. If you will, how many towns or cities in Connecticut, because I could be wrong, but I believe we would be the second if this passes, as far as adapting these cameras and the success and some of the pitfalls that some of the other towns have faced with these cameras. And my last question is, I know Councilor Muller hit on a lot of questions, some that I had listed, in reference to making sure that the cameras are not in areas of distress where we're targeting a certain group of people in the city. And I know our police department is very well diverse, and I don't have to worry about that being the case in this city. But I'll stop there because there's a lot that I unloaded on you. But yes, if you can just, kind of give us a snapshot of how many towns have it, some of the pitfalls and success that they've had.
Absolutely. Anytime you're considering rolling out a program or adopting a program such as so, it's important to exercise diligence, and that's exactly what we have done. Some communities or towns may be happy to be the first in. We're more worried and concerned about being or doing it correctly. The first town in Connecticut is Washington, Connecticut, which is a rural area. They have one. Then secondly, rolled out by Middletown, Connecticut. Currently, Marlborough, Weathersfield are in the process, along with us, and other towns such as Hamden, Milford, New Haven, Stamford, and Stratford are also in the process. While we looked at it and considered it, I thought it was important to talk to staff from other agencies and see the pros, the cons, lessons learned. I have had the opportunity to speak at length with Chief Costa of Middletown about the process and gain insight in regards to things to consider, things to look for, and to ensure that we roll out correctly. Because as noted earlier, first is good, but it's not always the best. It's better to be diligent and make sure you roll out in the most complete way possible. So we have taken lessons learned and observed those communities which I mentioned to get a better idea and better insight in how to do it and to go about it in the most correct and most appropriate, which is fitting to New London and our residents and stakeholders.
And thank you, you answered it perfectly, and I will leave with this. I know we all talk about safer streets, right? And then when we're offered solutions to that, some people, go against it, and it's kind of like an oxymoron. Like, we want safer streets, but then we don't want devices to aid in helping police officers to make sure that our streets are safe. So I say that to just say that, I know we'll have more discussion about this, but this is something that's been around for a long time. It sounds like that from the information you just provided this evening. So, I'm sure we'll talk about it some more, and I'm sure there'll be some more dialogue with it. But this is a new age that we live in. You can't go anywhere where you're under surveillance of some kind, whether you step out your door and your neighbor has a door cam, or you go to the grocery store and this camera's there, or the mall, what have you. So we're in a society where we're constantly on someone's watch, we're under someone's camera. So this is a device that, in my view, would aid in keeping our city safe. So, thank you for that.
Absolutely. Just to add real quick, some of the other benefits of this, obviously, it will be monitored and adjust the program as fitting according to what is best for New London and our community. In addition to that, it will provide a means to better serve with public safety and traffic safety in other areas. So the cameras may be in a location would solve issues and headaches, but monies can be used for traffic studies and for traffic improvement in other communities. So overall, we gain as a community in its entirety, not just one particular section or area. Thank you.
Councilor Dice.
Through you, President, to the Chief, first of all, I'd like to say thank you, because I approached you about some questions and concerns about this. And one of the things that, listening to you talk about this, where there's going to be a traffic study So when you had this traffic study in deciding, would this be brought back to council, or will it be a public hearing for discussion on this, on the outcomes of the areas that you guys are looking at?
The locations in which traffic service will be publicized and results will be provided so that there's an informed consideration in regards to the locations that are being chosen. There will be nothing arbitrary about it. It will be based on data and facts, and ultimate goals to ensure we have safer streets and reduce traffic violations, but more importantly, fatalities and/or injuries, and provide a safer means for our community.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that information, because the other aspect was the cost. So the cost of $50 for the tickets, and then $15 if they're late fee or something like that. One of the things that was brought up by one of the gentlemen that spoke was what would happen, or maybe it was the young lady, Jessica, what would happen if a person don't fulfill the payment? Would this be, my concern, like, would they lose their car? Would they lose their registration? What is going to be in place to help them navigate through paying this bill? But the ultimate thing should be changed behavior, knowing the traffic, and I understand that. I just want to make sure that it's not real extreme punishment for this, but a device of helping people, looking at the traffic area and respecting it and reducing the speed limit or fatalities or traffic accident and et cetera.
In regards to the fines, there will be no points against the license. The means to pay it will be between the sole source provider and the owner of the vehicle. We won't be involved in that process as far as it goes. What I believe will happen is if an agreement or settlement can't be arranged, it will go to collections. And that's my belief. I don't know that wholeheartedly, but that I would tend to believe that would be the course of action.
Okay, I yield the floor. Thank you,
All right,
President.
thank you. Councilor Sadi?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Through you, Council President, to Chief Wright. So we have a lot of cameras in the city of New London right now. Is the plan to utilize those cameras, or are we talking about installing new cameras?
Use those cameras for this purpose?
Correct.
No, our current public safety cameras are for a purpose other than this. These are the sole providers in use for enforcement in regards to the speed.
So what you've told us is that each camera is going to be $2,500 per month. Any idea how many cameras you plan on installing?
That will, you crawl before you walk and you walk before you run. So as we continue to navigate this process, we will start on the lower end before we jump to any extreme. And during each process, if we were to increase the number of cameras involved in this program, the same process would exist. Traffic studies and amending the permit for DOT. So there's a whole process that is established. The passage of this...
Quick math for me.
Okay.
$2,500, 10 cameras, $25,000, 12 months is $300,000. Okay, which would come out of, my understanding from what I've heard this evening, is out of the city coffers. The backup talks about a $50 fine, a $75 fine, a $16 processing fee, and there may be another processing fee. So as this third-party vendor receives this $50 or $65 fee, is that going to be paid to the city of New London so that we can then pay that $2,500 per camera per month, or?
I apologize. I believe there was a disconnect or misunderstanding. There's no upfront costs or no monies that are turned over by the city for this program. Once we initiate the program, based on the studies, they would be put in there as the modified driver behavior, and there's a grace period before any fines are started. Once that period starts over, before there's any billing or anything along those lines, the thought or belief is that the cost would be covered, that there's no monies coming from the city of New London or out the coffers of the community.
Right, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard you tell this council that the cost was $2,500 per month per camera.
Per lease, yes.
Okay, so there will be a cost to us. And I'm trying to figure out how we're going to get reimbursed that $2,500 per month per camera.
The revenue would be paid to the city, which has to go for public safety and/or traffic safety, meaning that
In other words, the third party who's...
second party, there's no cost up front, no cost until the program goes fully operational, and the no-cost solutions that this deferred billing until the cost is met by...
I'm assuming fully operational means, first guy that goes through the light and gets his $50 fine. The other question I have is, and it was mentioned earlier, I think by the gentleman, maybe in the back room, was also mentioned by Attorney, or Councilor Mueller. I do not want to see any type of disparate treatment in that, we do have, more people of less color in the 3rd district, whereas in the 1st and the 2nd district, there's a lot more people that are brown and black. And so I don't want to see us going against, pitting one community, one district against the other.
I don't want to see it either, sir.
Yeah, no, and I heard you say that, so thank you very much. And I appreciate the fact that you said that there will be warning signage. So,
Absolutely, it's a requirement, sir.
And the only thing we spoke about was speed. Is it my understanding, though, it's speed and red light?
This first process is for speed. The red light cameras is a process that's separate and distinct from this, sir.
Okay. And we are not required by law to issue tickets that would then go through the Central Infraction Bureau, which would then end up in Superior Court if, in fact, the tickets were not paid?
No, Public Act 23-116 provides a process for the fines and an appeal process which is kept internally within the city. Nothing has to go through the Central Infraction Bureau service, sir.
And again, what I heard is that presently, 2 communities of our 169 communities in Connecticut are presently utilizing this. Washington, Connecticut has 1 camera, and you didn't get a chance to mention how many cameras Middletown has.
Middletown has 2 on Route 66, and they're in process to increasing their camera coverage within the city. And as mentioned earlier, Marlborough, Weathersfield, as well as also in consideration includes also communities Hamden, Milford, New Haven, Stamford, and Stratford.
But have those passed the ordinance already, or are they in the process of passing?
They're in the process, just as we are, or the consideration of the process, sir.
So for the record, I'm not saying that I don't support this program. I have some concerns. As the gentleman in the back of the room said, I think the people of this community need to be heard before it's passed. And so at some point in time, if some other counselor is not going to make a motion to amend, I am very uncomfortable passing the ordinance, this evening. So I do have one question through you, Council President, to Attorney Eastep. My understanding is for us to pass all 3 readings this evening, you have to have a supermajority, which would be 5 counselors. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yep. So,
All right, so what we'll do is, let me open it up to the other councilors that have to speak, and then
yeah,
we'll...
no, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Sadi. Before I give it to Councilor Hart, I just have a question, because I know we're throwing this black and brown right out there, which I understand. So I guess I'm not understanding, because what I get, I don't know, I mean, black and brown people are not the only ones that speed. So I don't understand.
Well, that's my point. My
Okay.
concern is that where I live is the
Yeah.
predominantly white section of New London, down in the 6th district or
Yep.
the 3rd district, whatever you call it.
Yep.
And I want to see a camera down where I live if it's equally necessary as on Bayonet Street or somewhere else. I mean,
Okay.
and my intuition tells me that it's more likely than not that more of these cameras are going to be in highly populated, denser areas, and that is where black and brown citizens tend to live. So I know I'm making generalizations, and I know I'm preaching to the literal choir here,
Yeah.
but I just want to raise it for the people who aren't in the room so that they understand that we are cognizant of it. It's a very, very important issue, and it's especially important in consideration of something that, what we're talking about, an automated policing, basically.
Yeah, and thank you for clearing that up, Councilor Muller. So my other comment will be, according to the traffic reports, right? I mean, that's where you're gonna base, these cameras are based on those traffic reports, that's where they're gonna be located. Is that what it is? So if there's a lot of data that shows that there's a lot of speeding in those areas, that's where those cameras will go.
Correct. There's nothing that's secret about it. Some of the locations we're looking at Route 32, incoming and outgoing throughout the city, Howard Street, Pequot Avenue, Montauk Avenue, Ocean Avenue. Those are current locations where studies are being conducted, so.
And that will be the answer for me. So Pequot goes all the way, which is great. So the reason I bring that up is because I want to make sure that it's going to be in those areas, right? And I guess I just want to make sure, clear that up, and everybody understands that. And of course, like the chief said, you know what I mean, I doubt if Chief, who is our first African-American chief of police, will allow this kind of program that's going to marginalize black and brown people, but I'm glad that we brought the question up, and I'm glad that it's out there.
Absolutely, I appreciate the diligence.
Yes.
And caution and the concern. That is within your wheelhouse, and it would not be appropriate if you did not, so thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for Councilor Muller for bringing that up. All right, so with that, I'm going to go to Hart, and then that means we're going to do a round 2 of questions if anybody asks, but we're going to limit it to 2 only, okay?
I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight, Chief, through you, Council President. I have a number of questions that came up from the community. Just briefly, are these cameras going to be recording 24/7 around the clock?
They only capture when you exceed the speed limit, so anybody that goes under the speed limit, there's no capture or no recording of it. It's
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. I want to make sure I answered that question. Yeah, the 2 major issues that I have, one's already been discussed, that's the equity piece, and the only thing I can add to that conversation is I want to take the personality part out of it, because I believe you, Chief, that you would never intentionally allow bias to creep into your work. However, I just caution that regardless of everyone's best efforts or intentions, if there is bias in the data or the way the data was collected originally years ago, and then we use that data to make decisions now, sometimes that bias can reproduce itself despite the best efforts and intentions of people. So I want to be clear that, yeah, I saw in the backup that there is a map. If that map could be provided to us to look at and examine, I would need to see that to be comfortable voting for this ordinance, you know, everything else aside. So if you can share that with us, that would be...
To add to that, information is only vital and pertinent to when it's taken. So the information that is collected and utilized to base placements will be current, not from yesteryear or prior. It'll be current and actively going. And the whole process of rolling out a program is to evolve. There's no complacency. Our goal each and every day is to get better and do better. That's how we succeed as a community. That's how we succeed as a society. Your successes are my successes are your successes. And we're looking to do better and be better.
I appreciate the amount of thought you've put into that, and of course, I'd still like to see the map. But to move on to my other concerns, You know, I'm not a lawyer, I'm going to let the lawyers handle the due process concerns. But the fact that there's a private company, and I think the rep from the ACLU mentioned this, impacts both the process and the outcome. On the process side, I don't think I am comfortable with an internal due process. I would like these to be subject to the same court jurisdiction that other tickets are. I think that is not too much to ask. And if it's, you know, part of the vendor's process to adjudicate those on their end, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable delegating our sovereignty to a private company that way.
Just to clarify, your question is the process, appeal process.
Yeah,
Who oversees the appeal process?
if I say I'm not guilty, yeah,
Okay.
who has jurisdiction there? You said not the Superior Court, but an
You
internal
will get an
process.
opportunity to appear before someone who oversees that's appointed by the mayor, by the city. You're not coming to me, Brian Wright, police chief, or a member of the police department. That position is set aside no different than with parking complaints. If you want to appeal a parking complaint, you go in front of a party and you appeal it.
So is it the parking authority that's going to oversee these, or another body, or?
It'll be a body that's set aside by the mayor and council that's agreed upon, so it's not by the police department, it's not by this vendor.
Okay, I didn't see that in the ordinance. I didn't see where that was in the ordinance.
I'm glad I'm able to clarify it and bring it to your attention then.
All right, so I'm glad that the third-party vendor is not going to be doing the appeals process. That makes me feel better. As far as the outcome of that, you know, as Councilor Sadi pointed out, these are very large leases that create an incentive to create violations and collect monies and add fees, and I am concerned that this is going to take money out of our community. If there was a way to do this where the city owned cameras, operated cameras, and handled the whole process, I feel like that would be both more accountable to us, and also would not be draining money out of our community to a corporate entity.
A couple points on that. Speaking with Middletown, a majority of their violators are non-residents, people coming from outside the community into the community, operating in those conditions. Second of all, it'd be nice to fund all those positions, but would come salaries, benefits, and packages that we'd have to approve and hire a great deal of people to conduct this whole process. I don't know if we as a community or city are able to do that and fund that properly.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying, I would be more comfortable with a much scaled-back version that we completely controlled and maintained ourselves versus a very robust and quick rollout that is funded by someone else and benefits someone else to that effect.
As far as rollout, we control the rollout. Whether we start with 1 camera, 2 cameras is in our preview and our decision. So we grow as slow or as fast as we dictate, no more, no less.
Thank you, Chief. I really appreciate the dialogue. We'll follow up for that additional information. Before I cede the floor to a second round of questions, I would at this time like to make a motion to amend our language such that we're having the first reading only by striking everything after the words first reading.
I second.
It's been seconded by Councilor Muller. All right, I'm going to open up for discussion. I'm going to take, hold on.
Thank you, sir.
Before I give it to Councilor Peccola, because I need to call on Attorney Eastep. Are there any legal issues with not having the 3, with where we're just, bypassing the second and third right now?
It just brings it back again, obviously, for additional hearings at that point.
Okay.
I mean, the intent, as I think Attorney Longigan said at your last meeting, we put all 3 on in case you want to move it along, but obviously you could amend it to do it in these circumstances. So we just have to bring the CAM back for the second and third readings on the next two council meetings.
Okay, all right, thank you. Councilor Peck.
Thank you, President
President Pro
Dominguez.
Tem Peck, my fault.
Thank you, President Dominguez. So this is not time-sensitive, Attorney Eastep, so it's not like we're going to miss anything out as far as funding or anything?
There is no funding from any source that I'm aware of from the chief. I can tell you, we have stopped negotiating the agreement with the vendor, and we've told them we're not going to move forward until the matter passes, because it doesn't make any sense to spend the time and money involved in negotiating the agreement if ultimately you don't pass the ordinance.
Understood. I don't see, then, with that being said, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go through the motions of doing the 3 readings, because that would give us more time to just basically inform the residents and give any resident that couldn't make it tonight the opportunity to come, sign up for public comment, give their take on this matter. And I know you, Chief, enough that you're always forward-thinking, and I'm sure at some point, you know, maybe there could be a town hall to kind of aid the residents who live here in the city, just like a basic, one-on-one tutorial as far as like, better safety driving habits or informing them of, just about how the cameras work, because you did that with various other things that you rolled out throughout your department. So I'm confident enough that I know that you'll think of some way to kind of get in touch with the community to understand and inform them, moving forward when we start, or before we start rolling out these cameras, to just educate the residents, about the cameras, about better driving habits, so on and so forth. So I'm confident that I know your department will step up and do that. But again, as I stated, I see no problem with going through the 3 readings for this, so that we can give residents time to show up to council meetings when it is on the agenda to voice their opinion about it, so that way it would aid and just basically helping us all understand it and help you and your department understand what the community has questions about, maybe something we didn't think about. So I yield the floor with that. Thank you.
All right, so this is still the discussion on the amendment, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, President, to you, Chief. I want to make sure I understand this, because we will not have a traffic study, because first you have to have the ordinance passed, then the traffic study, or can we have a traffic study before we pass the ordinance? And this is the reason why I'm asking this question.
Yes.
We are in discussion on a motion to amend,
Yeah,
nothing to do with the main motion, so I think that question is more relevant to the main motion than it is to the motion.
So this question is based on my vote, because I need to know
Yeah, just
what
like-
need to come
sorry.
first. So this is why I'm asking this question, because we will have a meeting with the community without knowing the study. And it's very important that, if I'm understanding correctly, the study will not happen unless we have the ordinance. And so that's what I'm trying to understand. How,
yeah, you're fine. I agree.
okay, so Chief, is he, can I,
Yeah.
do I need
Understood.
to reiterate that question, or are you? Okay, thank you.
It is possible to simultaneously do some of it. Obviously, the traffic studies will proceed in order to give a clear picture to our community, to the council, and all those involved.
I yield the floor, and thank you for answering that question.
Okay. Are we ready to vote on the amendment right now, or does anybody want to discuss it further? All right, can you do the amendment motion, the amendment again for us, please? Councilor Hart, thanks.
Thank you. The amendment on the floor is to strike all the words after, let's see, ordinance is given its first reading in, let's see, to strike all references to the second and third reading from the motion.
Okay. All right, so let's vote. All right, we're going to raise our hands, all right? All those in favor for the amendment, all right, to strike the second and third, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The amendment passes. All right, now we're on the main, okay, the motion has amended. Let's have a discussion now. Councilor Seta, you have the floor. We'll keep it to 2 questions, Councilor Seta, only just two, right?
First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you, John Penny, and everyone today for notifying the people, because I did receive calls from half a dozen people, and every single one of them mentioned the fact that they read it today. And I just have a question, I'm not sure whether it should be addressed to the chief, or to Attorney Easton, or whether there's even an answer given this evening, but are we aware of any ACLU lawsuits that have been filed against ordinances of this type, either in the state of Connecticut or elsewhere, that have ruled that this type of program illegal?
I'm not aware of any in Connecticut. As the chief stated, it's fairly new as far as the municipalities that are here. Other parts of the country, I don't know. We can obviously ask that question of the proposed vendor, because they have these cameras all over the country. I don't know if the chief is aware of any.
I'm not aware of any existing or pending in the state of Connecticut.
And I mean, watching a lot of TV, and whatever, problem, that, they've been doing stop signs and whatever, violations, and people's court, whatever it is on TV from every year, Capriano or something.
The unfortunate passed away.
He passed away.
All right, I'm good for my question.
All right, I'm going to go to Councilor Muller. I'm all set too. Councilor Hart?
I do look forward to consulting with both the chief and the ACLU at length before the next reading, so other than that, I'm ready.
Councilor Dice? Okay. President Pro Tem Peck?
No, I just basically just want to thank the chief for coming out this evening and just giving us all this information, because it's a lot today. And again, I know he always has the best interests of our residents. I've seen that. We've all seen what he and his department has done. So I just thank you for your service, sir.
Just in response to that, first, thank you all for the opportunity tonight. Thank you for your diligence and your exercise of caution. None of our success would not be possible without the great men and women that work in the London Police Department, as well as the city admin and the job that you guys do. Thank you so very much.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. I think, Councilor Seta, you have a comment or question?
So just one question for you to, I guess, Attorney Easton. I would like to see a public hearing on this prior to the second and third reading. How do we go about doing that?
You have a committee that can hold a public hearing. But you'll have to decide,
Public Safety Committee?
you'd have to decide to send it to the Public Safety Committee. Or you could schedule one for yourself.
3.0 public hearings.
Yeah.
Right, but so does the council president schedule that, or does a majority of the council have to request that, or what?
Council rules.
Oh, Council rules, hold on.
I apologize, I don't know that. I've been interested in having a public hearing, so that anybody that wants to come out and talk about it would have that ability.
I would think that by consensus, you can agree to put it on as a public hearing on 3.0 on the agenda at the next meeting.
I would assume the second reading will be coming up in the
Well,
next meeting.
the CAM on the next council will say the second and third reading, so you'll still have the option of passing it at the next meeting or amending it and dropping it and having a third reading. So we'll give you that option.
We can figure where you can get a public hearing for the next time we hear this issue. So,
Mr. President.
Because he's got the floor still. He's got the floor.
I just had a question based on the mayor's comment.
I would like to give Attorney Eastep the opportunity to respond if
Okay.
possible. If not, I'll make a motion.
I'm skimming your rules, but I'm obviously not as familiar with them as members of council are, but I don't see anything that specifically says how a public hearing occurs.
I know that we schedule it. We just schedule it, we schedule. Huh? Yeah, public safety. So we just schedule it. We just schedule a public forum on the cameras here.
Could we also do like a town hall? Is that something that's also
Listen,
available?
usually we do, okay, that's different. That's a town hall. Usually public hearings happen right here, usually. Sometimes we do a public hearing at the Magnet Science, the auditorium, when we do the budget, remember? So, I mean, and,
I guess, and I know I put them off guard, but I just thought of this, and my apologies.
yeah, but I think we could do it. I mean, I don't see an issue. We can call us, it's like calling a special city council meeting.
What my plan is at this point, without having full knowledge, is to make a motion to refer this to the public safety committee. But I don't want to do that if there's a different way to have it. In other words, I would just like to have a public hearing prior to the second.
So I'm saying, why don't we just agree to schedule a meeting right now? We're here.
Yeah,
Maybe Counselor Hart,
I had my hand up.
Okay, but
that we can.
you're right. I just wanted to make sure that Saturday, you're done, because I want to pass it to Councilor Hart now. Because I know we're still waiting for, or I just want to make sure that,
I didn't want to take the floor from Councilor Sadi, I just want to clarify some of the conversation I heard over there. But yeah, as far as I understand, we can do it by consensus at the next regular meeting, and for the purpose of building that consensus, I would be in favor of that. And just to clarify, the mayor had a comment about the form it'll appear on the next agenda, having the second and third reading, but correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Eastep, if we struck the second and third reading, it would only appear as a second reading next time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
We would
thank
do a
you.
second reading at the next one.
Yep, so yeah, in favor of the hearing, and thank you for the clarification.
I can't find anything in your rules that say how you do a public hearing, so
I have the authority, so what we're going to do
Controls it, yeah.
is October 6th, is that our next council meeting? All right? We could start a public hearing, public safety, public hearing? Is that what we're going to call it?
well, you haven't referred it to public safety yet, so you can have your own, the council can hold its own public hearing.
All right, we'll do a public safety committee meeting, and we'll base it on this. Is that it? Is everybody fine? It'll be at 6 o'clock. Only 30 minutes, because we got a 6:30 administration committee meeting, unless you guys don't want to have the administration committee meeting. If you guys don't want to have the administration,
People, we just have to extend it later on.
all right.
Yeah,
So,
I agree, that's, 30 minutes is hard to fit all that in one time. I mean, it's a,
well, let's see, we don't know yet. We
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah,
yet.
you
We
never
can't
know.
assume that
You
we're
can't
going to
assume.
have only London here.
yeah, I just wish we could see like a town hall. I mean, we haven't done one in a while, I don't think we've done one in a long time, so we can get kind of all the support of the community and at a later time that more residents can make it.
All right, it's by consensus. I don't have an issue, but it's a consensus. Right now, everyone said public safety committee meeting. That's what I'm getting. Is that thumbs up for everybody? Okay. Yep.
I believe the president just referred it by unanimous consent. He called for objections, and I didn't hear any objections, so that's unanimous consent.
No, I'm trying to get, because we're still having discussion on it, and President Pro Tem proposed something bigger like a town hall, but now I'm going back to the councilors, Public Safety Committee meeting, we can have it October 6th, I think it is, right? Is it October 6th? We can have it at 6 PM, and everyone was a thumbs up, so we're gonna schedule it there. Public Safety Committee hearing. Meeting. And then, of course, if we need more time, then we can move up stuff around. Okay? All right, so that's it. Okay, so now, we're gonna vote on the main motion as amended, right? Or do we,
Parliamentary, if we're referring it, and we don't have to vote on it tonight, because we're referring it, is that right?
yeah.
Well, you didn't vote to refer it
Oh, I
to...
didn't vote to refer?
No, I
I
thought
thought I had the power to do what I want to do.
I thought you were just going to hold a city council public hearing, not a public safety.
No. It was suggested by Councilor Sadi that it could go to the Public Safety Committee. And I said yes. So then I got the other councilors that they're fine with it, but President Pro Tem wanted to do something bigger. Then I came back and they said, no, let's do the Public Safety Committee meeting. So now, the refer, we're going to vote on it now. Okay?
Yes.
Vote to refer?
All right, so we have the second, we're going to vote. Who seconded, was it Councilor Muller? Who seconded? Who seconded? All right, well, all right, so you made the motion, Councilor Sadi, right? To refer to the Public Safety Committee? I have not yet. I thought... Huh?
Have we voted on a motion to amend that?
Yeah, so before we voted on the main motion as amended, you wanted to have a, okay, so you have the floor. And what do you want to do, sir?
I'll make a motion
Okay?
to refer this to the Public Safety Committee.
I thought you had said that. All right, seconded, all right, by Councilor Dice. All right, any discussion? Let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Okay, it passes. Now we're going to vote on the main motion as amended for... Oh, because we've heard it. All right. Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Oh, Chief, thank you so much. Thank you. I know it's late. Appreciate you, Chief. It's like we forgot about you.
One more motion, one more King.
Oh, there's one more cam.
Please do.
All right, let's go, yeah. Let's go to that, the Detective 8.4, that's Councilor Sadi.
Move the cam.
Second,
We'll go with both A and B, ordinance number 91525-02. City Council approve ordinance 90-15-25-02, the amount of $79,947 made from an operating transfer from CAPRS, Capital Reserve, a project within Fund 3,600, along with a transfer from 2024 bonding for the purpose of purchasing 3 police vehicles plus up to equipment, where it's given 100% premium, the cost of passes by title only. All councilors having copies in the third reading of subject ordinance is adopted by roll call vote. B, purchase of detective vehicles and outfit, city council hereby approve the purchase of 3 detective vehicles from Williams City for the amount of $75,000. City council also approves the purchase of upfit equipment and labor from Solis Garage LLC in the amount of $4,947. The city council further authorizes the mayor to sign any document necessary, including effectuating said purchase. Funding is available under 36420-102-57320-3DC-26. So, hopefully that.
Do I have a second on that? That was already seconded? All right, thank you.
Okay, so President Pro Tem is running the meeting, I guess Council President stepped down?
I'm here. Go ahead.
All right, do we still have a quorum, or how does that work, Attorney Eastland? Need a break?
Move for a recess.
I just have,
Oh, she's back now. All right, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I just have one question. $75,000 for 3 vehicles, turns into $25,000 per vehicle. Are these used vehicles or new vehicles?
They're certified pre-owned vehicles, sir.
Okay, and in the past, when we've done that, I don't know if it's been through the police department, we've had a letter from the city mechanic indicating that was an appropriate way to go, but I didn't see that in the backup.
These certified pre-owned vehicles, I'm sorry. These certified pre-owned vehicles have a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, whichever comes first, from the original Ford new vehicle warranty start date. Systems are covered under this warranty are the engine, transmission, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, in addition to a warranty by Whaling City Ford.
And I believe that all vehicles have about 31,000 miles on them?
They range different, but yes.
Yeah, okay, I have no further questions then, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that has a question? Go ahead.
I ask this one every time we do a capital purchase, but just for the record, what's the useful life of these vehicles? How often do we replace them?
It's all dependent. Currently, these vehicles will be utilized to replace our current detective vehicles, which range from 2010 to 2009, which have an average of 110+ thousand miles, who frankly are a disservice to our detectives who do phenomenal and outstanding work. They respond to calls for service and continue to have them drive these aged vehicles versus new vehicles which offer reliability and safety, I think is our utmost importance. I believe because they're individually driven, the service life is higher, obviously because there's one driver to them unless promotions, but I believe, as with our current ones, they do last quite some time. Thank you.
President Dominguez is back, so I'll pass it to you, sir.
I appreciate it. All right, is there any other discussion? All right, President Pro Tem Peck,
Thank you.
you have the floor, sir. Thank you.
Chief Wright, I'm glad that you're looking at ways to save a few dollars, but just have a question as far as the outfit of these vehicles. Would there be any kind of challenge with updating these vehicles? Because I know normally when we purchase a new police vehicle, it already comes with the police package. In this case, we're purchasing a vehicle that doesn't have the police package, where we're going to have a second party actually install what's needed for these vehicles to be used for the purposes of providing safety for our city. So is there going to be a challenge with outfitting these vehicles, or I understand that they're low miles. Are they low miles? So will we have like a warranty to ensure that we're not taking on someone else's problems as far as using a used vehicle?
Every vehicle purchased from the manufacturer, Ford, is upfitted. No police package comes as is. It always is sent to a second party. They'll upfit the emergency equipment from the radios to the lights, sirens, and all those things. And earlier I mentioned that these certified pre-owned vehicles have a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty from the original Ford new warranty start date. In addition, under this is a warranty on the engine, transmissions, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and one of the added bonuses, we're reinvesting to a company that is in New London. So we're keeping the money per se in the city of New London. And fortunately, we know where they're at. It doesn't take long to drive to Whaling City from anywhere in the city, so that's an added benefit to this.
And I'm glad that you stated that, so I'm glad I set up the question in that manner, that you gave the ability to highlight the fact that we are working with a local company right here in London, because a lot of people always ask that question, you know, about keeping the dollars here, helping out local businesses. So I'm glad that you answered that question in that manner. So thank you, sir.
Absolutely, and Felipe Mariconi, the owner of Whaling City Ford, is a vested stakeholder in the city and does numerous outreach programs with the city of New London. So it's just, as mentioned earlier, another added benefit to this process.
Right, Cam A and B, we're good? All right, so we're going to vote. Please, a roll call vote. Thank you, Jenny.
Counselor Sadi.
Roll call vote, sir.
Counselor Miller.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Peck.
Yes.
Counselor Hart,
Yes.
President Dominguez,
Yes.
and Counselor Dice. Yes. 6 yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
As always, thank you for your collaboration and partnership. It's greatly appreciated by the men and women of the New London Police Department as well as our community members. Thank you.
Thank you to you and the Police Department, Chief. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. All right, with that, we are going to move on to 8.1. That's, ordinance, yep.
Thank you. Ordinance, Town Aid Road Fund, move to Cam.
Second.
Okay. The City Council approved ordinance 09-15-25-01 in the amount of $129,411, made from additional funds received from the Connecticut Department of Transportation. The ordinance is given its first and second reading in the process of passage by title only. All councilors having copies, and the third reading of, having copies in the third reading of the subject ordinance is adopted by roll call vote. I actually pulled this, Cam, because there's a lot of wonderful things happening in the community that we're unaware of. And I was very thankful to receive this $129,411 with all the repairs from sidewalks, road repair. And I'm not sure exactly where this funds is going to, but that was one of the questions. I know it's it's from the Department of Transportation, and we have so many areas. And I would have called Director Sears, and I did not. But just with everything that's happening in our community, from, you guys are looking at papers and getting me nervous over there. 8.1, the first one, pipe repair, lead pipe repair programs. There's so many things happening which throw us all off in our community as we drive the roads. But I was just very thankful that funds has come from the Connecticut Department of Transportation to help us with this endeavor. That's the reason why I pulled it. That's all. Just want to say thank you.
Okay, other discussion? Go ahead, President Pro Tem Beck.
Thank you, President Dominguez, and thank you, Councilor Dice, for pulling this. But I remember Director Sear basically laying out exactly what this Town Aid Road Fund is. He's talked about it several times. It's unfortunate that he's not here today. He's a very busy man, but I do remember hearing about this fund and getting the information from Director Sear. So again, I'm just glad to see that we're getting this aid that is desperately needed to keep our city, up to date and getting all the roads and sidewalks fixed. So, I'm happy with this, Cam. I support it, and thank you.
Yep, thank you. And I'm going to ask Director McBride just to touch on the amount, what's happening.
Yeah, certainly. The reason this came to you is when the mayor's budget was proposed earlier in the year, the number the state was giving us was $388,619. After the budget was approved by the council, then, as you know, the state budget was approved. That state budget thankfully came in for Town Aid Road at $508,030. So the reason for this is an increase in the overall budget from the state of Connecticut. And the purposes of these funds for construction, reconstruction, improvements of highways, plowing of snow, sand and ice removal, trimming and removal of trees, traffic control, traffic signals, traffic planning, highways and traffic, and public transportation services. So the Town Aid Road Fund is a pretty well-diversified amount of funds that we can use for various construction processes. So that's the information Director Sear wanted me to provide to you. So, okay.
Thank you, Director McBride. Thank you for the information. With that, we're ready to vote? Okay, guys. All right, ordinance Town Aid Road Fund, roll call vote. Let's have our Assistant Minister.
President Dominguez,
Yes.
Counselor Muller,
Yes.
Counselor Sadi,
Yes.
Counselor Dice. Yes. President Pro Tem Peck,
Yes.
And Counselor Hart?
Yes.
6 yes.
All right, thank you. The motion carries. All right, Councilor Sadi, you have the last, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify for you Counselor Hart's question earlier. We normally would put the second and third reading on if you've only had the first reading, because the charter allows you to waive the second and third one with 5/7 vote, the same way you can waive all three of them. So it would be up to what the council would be looking for us to put on the CAM for the next meeting.
Appreciate the follow-up with that. My thinking that it would appear in that form is because usually when you amend something and then refer it to a committee, it shows up in the form that you amended it, not some other form. So if we are amending it, I would expect it would show up in the amended form. Since the amended form had no second or third readings, I don't know why we would change the language between now and then without any further input from the council.
Well, I don't recall if you voted on the first reading or not. I think you voted on the first reading.
We did not, so I guess, the committee could certainly put that language back in.
Yes, then it would be just the first reading for that one, as far as it's concerned. But then any subsequent ones, we normally would put the second and third on, so again, you can waive it if you want or not, unless the council's not looking to do that. So I just wanted to make sure whatever you want to have on your next agenda.
So to have the normal three-reading process play out, we would have to waive that requirement to waive the requirement at 3 meetings in a row?
Well, the charter allows you to do it in 3 separate readings, or you can waive it with 5/7 vote without clarifying whether you're waiving all 3 or the second and third ones, or what you're doing. So, but it sounds like, I mean, the next one's going to be just the first reading anyways. It'll be back on, so we can worry about that at that point.
We can worry about that later.
Point of order. So my understanding of what took place here tonight is the fact that no reading was approved, and it was referred to the Public Safety Committee. So, and I'm not saying that.
Yes, but you also amended it. So the motion that's going to the Public Safety Committee has only one reading. So after it comes out of Public Safety, okay, it appears as a CAM as one reading. So that's how it's amended. So the next, you're having a public safety meeting to have a public hearing on it, and the CAM on that agenda is going to be the amended CAM for one reading. Okay? I think the point that Attorney Eastep was bringing up, that generally when you pass something on one reading, either because there's only 4 votes or because you've amended the motion, the next time it appears, and the council secretary can correct me, the next time it appears, instead of saying the first, second, and third reading, it says the second and third reading. And if you want to take it on to a separate third reading, you just amend it again, or it doesn't get 5 votes. And I'm done.
I think I'm crystal clear. I hope everybody else. Thank you, Attorney Eastep and Mayor. Thank you. Thank you. All right, you ready, sir? Who is it? Who is it? Yeah, thank you. That's why I looked at you, Councilor Sadi. Don't sleep on me, Councilor Sadi.
is MER, and then I have an additional question once that MER question is answered.
This will increase the MBR. So the school board budget will be $65,000 higher than we passed with the budget ordinances. So I don't see that. Look, my position on this all along has been this isn't a budget issue. Okay, the school budget is $84 million, I think. The city budget is $50 million. This $65,000 would be considered de minimis in the scope of our budgets.
Right. So, I guess it's one or two questions. The backup or the email that you sent us is that you have been in negotiations with the Board of Ed, and they anticipated restarting this program today.
Actually, no, there was no negotiations. After I got the consensus of this body at 2 weeks ago at the last meeting, I sent an email to the superintendent telling her that our intention was to put an appropriation ordinance on this meeting to fund the program and requesting that she restarted it. Her reply was that she would have the Board of Ed president, or the Board of Ed president would put it on the next Board of Ed meeting for discussion. They did last Monday at their meeting approve restarting the program tomorrow on the 16th, based on, I presume, whether this motion passes tonight.
And then my second question would be, would it be inappropriate to take this money from the non-lapsing fund as opposed to contingency?
We don't control the non-lapsing fund. We do to a certain extent that there is, in the non-lapsing ordinance, there is language, and the finance director is more qualified. There is language that they have to pay any outstanding costs that they owe the city. But I don't believe this would be one of them. But I'll let the finance director answer that question.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I'd say, blurry. Back, if you recall, the non-lapsing fund that this council put forth, there were certain requirements of those funds in order for them to be expended. The Board of Ed would need to ask for permission to put money in, as long as the amounts were properly paid and liabilities that are owed. As an example, police services at the school, if those amounts weren't paid to the city, I would then inform the council that those amounts weren't paid, and as a result, they should not be able to utilize those non-lapsing funds. That was for funds, I don't know the exact date, but it was for funds 2 or 3 years ago. There's some question as to whether or not that same situation could apply, and I could inform the council that those funds were not utilized, in the previously, so therefore those funds are still owed by the Board of Ed. However, as you know, 2 years ago, a year ago, when the legislature came forward and passed the new legislation, any of those non-lapsing funds that drop into their new non-lapsing account, because I treat it as 2 separate buckets, those non-lapsing funds, there's no authority for this council to say, or for me to inform the council, the Board of Ed owes us money and we can't take that money back. So for anything in the current day, we have no, or you have no authority to say, Director McBride, have they paid all their bills? And I could not say, they haven't paid, in this situation, your crossing guard situation, I couldn't say, they haven't paid the crossing guard fee, so therefore take it out of the non-lapsing fund. So because it's happening currently, we really don't have the authority, you don't have the authority to say, take it out of the non-lapsing fund. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. So I agree with the mayor, the money is not a lot of money compared to the overall budget. But again, we've heard from many Board of Education members, you can give us the money, but you can't tell us how to spend it. And so my concern is that we give them this $65,000 and they don't hire crossing guards for 6 months, and then they use half of it to pay the crossing guards for the second half of the year, but then they have another 32,000 of our money. So hopefully, in good faith, I'm going to vote in favor of this motion tonight. Put the burden on the Board of Education to put the children first, so that our children are safe coming and going to school. Thank you.
We do have a communication between, I think, first of all, I think both bodies are acting in good faith, so I appreciate that. And we do have an email from the Chief Financial Officer over at the Board of Ed that the intention is to restart the program on the 16th, which is tomorrow.
I have no further questions or comments.
President Pro Tem Peck.
Thank you, President Dominguez. You know, I really don't want to go into the weeds of this whole topic, but as it was laid out, you know, there was a problem. We don't have crossing guards. You know, we're now coming in good faith and fixing the problem. So, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it. I support it. You know, the mayor has stepped up and did the right thing as far as, you know, offering the funds to start the program back again, because we need crossing guards back on the streets. And, you know, I don't want to get into the weeds again of, you know, finger pointing. We're just at this moment in time where we're just going to just fix the problem and move on and make sure that our kids are safe. And that's what I'm voting for today, is to just move along and make sure our kids are safe.
Councilor Hart.
Thank you. I'm very glad that we have a solution in front of us that is going to get crossing guards on the street tomorrow. That is the main focus. I just want to say I want to appreciate Councilor Sadi's leadership in bringing this motion to the floor in the first place, and causing this solution to be found, and that if we have worries about where this rightfully belongs in the budget, I would be happy to pursue that with you when budget time comes around again, and I think you have the right idea, but I don't want anything to stand in the way of getting this passed tonight, so thank you very much.
Councilor Muller.
Yeah, I would simply just like to put it out there that I heard from a lot of community members in the context of this conversation that at some point, and I think we heard it here in council too, that at some point in the past, crossing guards were a creature of the police department. And I think we should really consider that, because I don't want to see us doing this again. This was, as the mayor says, feels very political. It's $65,000, it's not a lot of money. And I think we need to be smart with our resources and not putting ourselves in this situation again where we can be kind of manipulated into doing this. And so I think if we take it out of the Board of Ed, give it back to the police, we need to have more of a productive conversation and a real conversation about that over the next year, so that we're not stuck at the end making a decision with not enough time to really do anything about it. So I want to bring that forward now in the beginning of the school year, and I challenge each one of you fellow counselors to please help me figure out how we're going to move the crossing guards over to the police budget for the next year. Because I think this situation really tells a story that I don't think we want to be hearing again. So thank you, I yield the floor.
Okay. Councilor Dice.
I actually, I'm going to support it, but I went to the Board of Ed meeting, and I was hoping to see a lot of the families or residents, members there at the meeting, and unfortunately, I was the only one there that spoke. And one of the things we do need to understand, we need to know this year currently, the funding for the crossing guard was in the Board of Ed budget. And it's important that our residents, our families, our people who was upset, I wish you had went to the Board of Ed meeting, because that is where the answer needed to be held at. But one of the things I learned is that, and I should have known this, that no matter what, the city was going to be liable, because the Board of Ed is a department under the city. And it wasn't until that meeting I'm listening about the nurses situation and realize no matter what, we are held responsible, the council, the mayor, the city, And that was just an aha moment for me. But like I said, we need to start going to the Board of Ed meetings and holding them also accountable for their action, to feel comfortable enough to cut something like that from the budget. So I understand in the future for the next council that come up here, you know, if you guys decide to move it in the, you know, police department, that's your prerogative. But the reality is this year, now, it was in the Board of Ed budget. And because it was in the Board of Ed budget, they should have been held responsible for doing this, but the reality is, the city is. So you guys should have went to the Board of Ed meeting to speak up, to say, we're not gonna tolerate this. We gotta work together. I yield the floor, and thank you for asking me.
And with that, we will vote. All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The motion carries. All right, one
I'd like to
last.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, this meeting has adjourned at 9:53 PM. Good night, and see you guys in a couple weeks.